righty, good evening and happy Tuesday as we welcome you back into VA Memorial Stadium, home of the Chillicothe Paints, for Game 2 of our triple header here this evening. This one going to have District Gold on the line as Southeastern and Huntington meet up for the third time this season. Dewey Daly and Shane Combs alongside you this evening. Shane, glad to be back in the booth with you for another baseball game.
Oh, always glad to be with you. Enjoy doing all the different sports we've been able to do over the last several years, and I think you've picked a good one to come back for. This should be a lot of fun.
And again, as we mentioned, it's not too often you meet up with a conference opponent in the tournament, let alone a district final. And really one of the interesting things when you look at this game is the fact that Huntington draws the 1 seed, Southeastern the 4. Southeastern swept this season series from Huntington.
Yeah, it really just shows a great illustration of just how good and how deep the Cider Valley Conference is each and every year. Over the last 20 years or so, the enrollment figures in the Cider Valley Conference have started to kind of spread out a little bit. But what's unique is in the postseason, the teams spread out a little bit. In this case, they are in the same bracket. One team with a little bit more non-league success. Overall record probably showed up in its favor come tournament time. What's so fun about it now is all of that's for naught as they both reach this level and they can decide it on the field to see who's going to represent not only the SVC but the Southeast District in the Sweet 16.
And Shane, I think one of the more exciting things, sometimes you get deep into the tournament and you start running out of arms that you can go to. We're going to get both number ones here today for Huntington and Southeastern.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun. Something that Carson and I were paying attention to the other night when Huntington's offense was able to break the game open. You started to pay attention to that pitch count, and then Southeastern kind of rolls the dice going up against an elite arm like Applegate. They got some great innings out of Kessler, and then when they went to McWhorter, he was dynamite, but they went to him late enough and he was efficient enough to where he stayed inside the number. So who wins? I guess Dewey Daly and Shane Combs, because we get to watch an incredible pitching matchup this afternoon. It should be a lot of fun.
And Shane, talking about that pitching matchup, we can start with the visitors here this evening. Southeastern, the senior Carson McWhorter, over 300 career strikeouts, a program record for the Panthers. What can we expect to see from him maybe that we didn't see a year ago when we saw them win that first district title in school history?
Well, he certainly has plenty of velocity in terms of working in the 80s and so forth, but I always think it's his off-speed pitch. When he commands the curveball to that outside corner and he starts to cut the plate on the right-handed hitters, he becomes almost unhittable. So when he's able to work ahead and get out in front, he can get you in a lot of two-strike counts. He's tough to get in play. But if he's unable to throw strike one, the one bugaboo for him throughout his career can be the pitch count, because anytime you're going to strike out a lot of guys, if you're doing so in 5, 6, 7, 8 pitch at bats, the pitch count starts to rise. That's something to pay attention to if that type of game breaks out into the 5th, 6th, or 7th inning.
Something you see. I always go to the Hunter Green game a couple years ago in Chicago where he had like 10 strikeouts, no hits through 6 innings, but he had to come out of the game. He'd thrown like 125 pitches, so that kind of goes to what you're talking about. When you're a big strikeout guy, you tend to throw a lot of pitches if you get a couple batters that are going to look some pitches off that are out of the zone or fight off some tough pitches on the corners.
Well, and what happens with the Huntington lineup, they're so good at 1 through 9 just really competing in their at-bats. So when you face McWhorter, you probably are going to strike out a little bit more than you would like to, but it's really about having competitive at-bats, competing with 2 strikes. And then if Huntington's able to get guys on, and particularly early, Coach Carroll's going to push the running game and some of the small ball. They do it as well as anybody in the area.
And then the senior Andrew Oyer, Shane, for head coach Chad Carroll and the Huntington Huntsmen. What can we expect to see from him here this evening against this Southeastern lineup?
Well, John Bruce and I were joking on the SOSA overtime, which we appreciate Perfection One's support of that right here on the YouTube channel, where we get together each week and talk for a couple hours. We were actually talking about him. We said it feels like he's been pitching there for 10 years. He's taken the ball so much from day one for Coach Carroll. What you can count on is he's going to fill the zone. He's going to be efficient. The moment won't be too big for him because he's pitched in a bunch of these big games. And expect him to attack the zone and give his team a chance to win into the middle to late inning.
And Shane, when I was doing my prep work this morning, just looking at this game, one of the guys that jumped out off the page at me was sophomore Troy McDonald, a .494 average. He leads the team with 3 triples. He has 6 doubles as well, 17 RBI, first team all-conference, first team all-district. As a sophomore, he's had a great year.
Big-time player, big-time athlete, can impact the game in a lot of different ways. We talk about 5 tools, and in the high school level, a lot of baseball guys aren't going to hit the ball at the ballpark. So I always talk about that power being more gap-to-gap type extra base hits, as you just illustrated. But, yeah, he can impact it as a base runner, as a hitter, as a defender. Really, really good player, dynamic in a lot of different ways.
And Gage Cheadle, one of those guys for Southeastern, a .492 batting average on the season. He's getting on base at a .611 clip. He's got 32 hits on the year, 2 home runs, 19 RBI. Another one of those guys that you can lean on in the middle of your order.
Another 5-tool guy. Just the other night, we watched him impact it with his glove and his range defensively. We watched him as a base runner with his athleticism. Terrific player, terrific athlete.
And the winner of this one moving on to the regional semifinals. Now, they'll play the district winner out of the central district, but that district is still in the semi, so they still got some games to go. Their semifinals are going to be played tonight, both games at 5 p.m. It's Mechanicsburg and Cardington Lincoln in one half, and then Liberty Union and Bern Union on the other half, and that district final will be played I believe next Wednesday, maybe 2 p.m. at Denison, or I believe it might be played tomorrow.
That Liberty Union team can really pitch.
And you mentioned pitching for Liberty Union. They had a kid a couple of years ago. I think Jacob Miller got drafted by the Marlins right out of high school.
Right. Yeah, a team that can really, really pitch. Some good baseball programs you just rattled off there. So, first things first, I know these two teams will certainly have each other's attention here today, but you're right. A lot of times in the Southeast, a little bit of a longer layoff. As you get into that Sweet 16, you'll give you a chance to scout a little bit and reset going into that next round.
Yeah, that next game would be Wednesday, June 3rd, so that'd be an 8-day break in between the district final and regional semi. It'd be June 3rd at 2 p.m. From anything I could find, the location was still TBA on the OHSAA website. I'm not sure if maybe that's been updated verbally since then, but I wasn't able to find a location for that regional semi game. I know sometimes they've played them at Lancaster. I believe that's where Southeastern may have went last year.
D6 over the years since they've gone to the more divisions, the old Division 4, and then since then D6, a lot of times right there in Lancaster at the Beavers
Field.
Yeah.
I'd say other than here at the VA, that's got to be one of the better venues in our area.
I was fortunate enough to coach there 3 times in the regional. Just a beautiful, beautiful place, good people. And it's a great atmosphere. If you've never been there, it's got a unique backdrop with the way they use their back stop, and then a little bit of the hill and the slant there. Sets up for quite a theater in terms of atmosphere.
I believe it has that fully turfed infield and then the very well-kept natural surface in the outfield as well. A really great place if you've never been there. And you mentioned it's just one of those experiences where, you have all the seating that's pretty high up because it's kind of on that hillside, and it really is kind of a unique, whether you're there for high school, Legion ball. I'm sure some college teams have played there. Very unique viewing experience as well.
It really is. And, we've had to have, as you extend the divisions, you need more games, you need more places. I know Logan stepped up as quite a facility there, obviously down at OU. You and I have had a chance to call some games there together. So, obviously, you need more and more good places. The Southeast District's really blessed with several options.
So we'll quickly run through the starting lineups. We'll go through the batting order for Southeastern, and then we'll go over to the fielding positions for Huntington. So starting with Southeastern, their first 3, the third baseman C.J. Huff, the catcher Colton Baxter, and the shortstop Gage Cheadle. The 4-5-6 is Braden Burns, Carson McCorder, and Bryson Kessler. And the bottom third is the first baseman Landon Brown, left fielder Landon Welch, and the DH Isaac Blake. In the field for Huntington, we'll start in the outfield from left to right. We have Alex Long in left field, Braden Burns in center. Oh, I think I may have written down the... Let me get back to that. All right, here we go. Into the defensive side for Huntington. Alex Long in left, Troy McDonald in center, Calvin Hirsch in right. In the infield from third to first, Tucker Hopkins, Frankie Hirsch, Maverick Hardesty, and Carson Smith over at first base. Andrew Rowe, you're on the mound, as we mentioned, and his battery mate behind the plate will be Landon Lowry.
Yeah, great athleticism behind Oyer. They'll do a good job in the outfield, which is really important in this ballpark, keeping the ball out of the gap. We highlight that in all the games we do out here. This ballpark can really be significantly different than the way a lot of high school fields can play, particularly in terms of extra base hits. So this is a really athletic Huntington team that can cover a lot of ground and you know Andrew Oyer is going to always fill up the strike zone and keep his team in the game.
For the senior Andrew Oyer, it's appearance number 16 on the season. He's tossed 67 innings on this season, a 6-5 record, a 1.88 ERA, and 65 strikeouts, so right around that 1 strikeout per inning average for Oyer.
You know, Dewey, I was thinking about this game a lot over the last day or two because I was really excited to call it with you. And, you know, the one thing I will say, these teams know each other so well. I always feel like the hitter starts to gain a little bit of the original disadvantage back the more they see the pitcher. So obviously these guys have seen these two talented arms several times, maybe more so a chance to get to them, say, than a non-league opponent would be. But they'll just be interested to see how these two right-handers settle in and get after it here in the early going.
So the third baseman, C.J. Huff, will lead things off for Southeastern. 377 average on the season. Getting on base at a 444 clip. First offering on the way from Oyer is low and away. It's 1-0. Shane, this is a Huntington team that's really been knocking on the door of a district championship over the last couple of seasons. Last year, a loss to Eastern Meigs in the championship, and then a couple of years ago, a 5-4 loss to Fairland, where that game-tying run was thrown out at the plate for the final out of the game.
Yeah, certainly a hungry group, and yeah, the Southeastern team, they were there last year, want to get there again. Playing without their leadoff hitter today, Isaiah Cosby, their normal leadoff guy.
2-0 misses low and away, and it's 3-0 to C.J. Huff.
Yeah, just got to be able to take a deep breath and fill it up. You know, uncharacteristic of Oyer not to be in the zone.
3-0 pitch finds the zone for Andrew Oyer. It's 3-1. Go back to 2023. It was a 27-seeded Southeastern team as the 3-1 pitch is in there. It's now a full count to C.J. Huff. A 27-seeded Southeastern team upset Huntington in the sectional final, 8-6.
A little bit of a gamesmanship there. Stepping in and getting a timeout, see if he can break the rhythm.
3-2 on the way, up and in. It's a leadoff walk for C.J. Huff.
Yeah, nice little move from Huff there. When Oyer got back in the count 3-2, you notice how he stepped in the box and immediately ended up taking the timeout just to try to break the rhythm a little bit. And Huff hitting in the leadoff spot in replace of Cosby today does what you ask him to do, which is get on base.
Now the catcher, Colton Baxter, steps in with the leadoff man aboard. Nobody out here in the top of the first inning. First pitch misses up and in, and it gets past the catcher, Lowry. That'll allow Huff to take second. And the leadoff man in scoring position with nobody out for Southeastern.
Yeah, Hopkins over there at third was anticipating possible bunt. The ball gets away, and Huff moves up, and now Southeastern in a great opportunity. You always want to try to get to these pitchers early before they can settle in, and Southeastern with a chance to do that.
Baxter, a 372 average, 13 RBI, a couple of home runs on the season. 1-0 on the way from Oyer, smoked into left field. That's going to drop in front of the left fielder, Alex Long, for a base hit. He quickly gets it back into the infield, misses Hirsch on the cutoff. And it's corralled in the infield by Oyer. It's a single for Colton Baxter, and it'll be runners on the corners with nobody out for Gage Cheadle.
Yeah, good choice there from Coach Valentine. The ball was hit hard, first seeing it through, and then the one hop on the turf got to Alex Long in a hurry. Lucky that Baxter didn't move up there on that where they missed their cut. Nonetheless, first and third. Let's see what Southeastern decides to do with the run game.
So now Gage Cheadle, Shane, in the pregame we talked about it, a 492 average, couple of home runs, 19 RBI on the season for the shortstop. First offering misses low and away. It's 1-0 to Cheadle.
Good job there from Lowry. Keep on front.
Cheadle, a first-team All-SVC selection, district special mention. And a big RBI opportunity here for the senior with nobody out and runners on the corners in the first.
Still haven't started the runner here. Let's see if they change that.
1-1 into the gap, right center. Charging in is McDonald, but he's not going to get there and drops in front of him for a single. An RBI single at that for Gage Cheadle, and it's 1-0 Southeastern.
Yeah, well hit ball off the bat. I thought McDonald had a beat on it, but ball falls in and not only gets the run and still nobody out. And right here in the heart of the order, Southeastern with a chance to maybe put up a crooked number.
Now the cleanup man, center fielder Braden Burns. He's first pitch swinging into the left center field gap. McDonald giving chase, but he's going to field it on the hop. Bobbles it in left center, rounding third and scoring is Colton Baxter. Head first slide into third for Cheadle. And another run comes in for Southeastern.
Well, again, another fly ball that just kind of hit out of the reach of the range of McDonald, and I think that's going to have to go down as a single and then an error because he was holding the runner up. Yeah, now they put it on the board. Dewey, I don't know if you caught that. They were going to hold the runner up, and then he bobbled the ball out there in left center field. So take the RBI off and take it home. Nonetheless, Southeastern doesn't care about that right now. They care about being up 2-0.
The opposing pitcher, Carson McWhorter, he's first pitch swinging. Shallow right field, Kevin Hirsch moving towards the line, makes the grab, tagging from third is Cheadle. Throw to the plate is cut off. Cheadle scores, makes it 3-0. Burns moves to third. There's 2 outs here in the first inning for the second baseman, Bryson Kessler.
Yeah, just great situational hitting. Lift the fly ball out, let the speed create the run from there, and great start for Southeastern here. Still not done yet. Still got a guy down there 90 feet away.
And Shane, we talked about Oyer in the pregame, a 1.88 ERA. What has gone wrong for Oyer here in the top of the first inning to allow 3 runs to come in on 3 consecutive singles and a sac fly? This one's bunted right back to the pitcher. Nice play by Oyer, but he doesn't make the throw anywhere, and another run comes in to score for Southeastern.
Yeah, just miscommunication, and now bad's gone the worst. To answer your question originally, Dewey, really the only thing on his part of it probably was just walking the leadoff hitter, but from that point on, a couple fly balls, able to find some green out there. We talk about this being a big ballpark, a couple fly balls that could have maybe been outs. They were able to fall in, and then after the sacrifice fly, the small ball not getting an out due to lack of communication.
Now the first baseman, Landon Brown. As you said, it a leadoff walk to C.J. Huff, Baxter, Cheadle, and Burns with 3 consecutive singles. Sac fly from Carson McWhorter, and Bryson Kessler able to cause some mayhem and reach on a bunt that more or less one-hopped right back to Oyer.
A lot of baseball to play. Just got to settle in and try to get out of this.
1-0 on the way to Landon Brown. Swung on and missed. That'll even the count at 1-1.
Getting these situations in the first inning, and you can feel like you're in quicksand a little bit, and you just got to be able to settle in. There's another good swing.
1-1 sent right back up the middle. It's the 4th base hit of the inning for Southeastern. The 1-out single for Landon Brown.
I was talking to someone earlier this week. They asked me the difference between Southeastern last year and this year, in my opinion, and I said it has to come on the offensive side. They've been able to really break out, and they've been more explosive, as you're seeing here, up and down the lineup, and you combine that with the arm of McWhorter, and it makes them really dangerous.
Now the left fielder, Landon Welch. On the season, Welch batting just .136. 6 hits, 5 RBI. He squares to bunt it off, unable to get the bat on the ball. It's going to be 0-2 to Welch.
Yeah, kind of squaring late. A lot of times you get a guy that handles the bat well. Worst case scenario, it serves as a sacrifice. But when he does it that way, he's almost trying to bunt for a hit as much as anything.
1-2 now to Welch. Isaac Blake, the designated hitter on deck for Huntington. He's the bottom of the lineup, or excuse me, for Southeastern. He's the bottom of the lineup for the Panthers. 1-2 on the way from Oyer. Swung on and missed. First strikeout for the senior here in the first inning, and there's now 2 down.
Yeah, big out here in front of him. You don't want to turn the order back over. I know it's 4-0, and it feels like it's getting away, but a lot of baseball, and you certainly want to give your team a chance to get in the dugout and hit.
First pitch swinging is Isaac Blake to left field, right into the glove of Alex Long, and that's out the top of the first. We'll come to a close here in Chillicothe. Southeastern plates 4 as they take this lead into the bottom half of the inning. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Back here in Chillicothe, bottom of the first inning. Southeastern able to bring home 4 in their half of the opening frame. We'll go through the batting lineup for Huntington here this evening. The top 3, Frankie Hirsch, Troy McDonald, and Tucker Hopkins. The 4, 5, 6, Landon Lowry, Calvin Hirsch, and Maverick Hardesty. And the bottom third, Alex Long, Andrew McKnight, and Andrew Oyer. In the field for Southeastern from left to right, Landon Welch, Braden Burns, and Gabe Oates. In the infield from third to first, C.J. Huff, Gage Cheadle, Bryson Kessler, and Landon Brown. Colton Baxter behind the plate, and Carson McCorder on the mound this evening for Southeastern. We talked about what he could do at the plate the last half inning, had that sac fly to right field, but on the mound, Shane, the program leader in career strikeouts with over 300 and a 1.32 ERA on the season, 85 strikeouts and an 8-3 record.
Well, it certainly can be overpowering at times, especially as I said in the pregame, if you weren't with us, when he's able to command his off-speed pitch to that outer part of the plate and on the corner and then work it off of the corner when he gets ahead of you. That's when he becomes unhittable. If you're Huntington, first inning kind of shell shocks you a little bit. You've got to stay with your game plan, know that you got a long way to go in this one. Can't try to get them all back at once against a pitcher of this caliber. Got to dig in, and starts with Frankie Hirsch having a good AB, and then other guys coming in behind doing the same.
So again, the do-up this half inning for Huntington, Frankie Hirsch, Troy McDonald, and Tucker Hopkins. First offering on the way from McCorder, misses low and away. It's 1-0. And really, if you're a guy like McCorder with the season and really just the career you've been having, you're kind of licking your chops here first inning in, and you already have 4 runs and quite a bit of cushion here in a district final.
You'll notice, too, where he'll throw the off-speed in about any count. That makes it really hard to sit on a particular pitch with him.
1-1 to Hirsch, chopped to the left side. Over is the third baseman, Huff. And a nice pick over at first base from Landon Brown for the opening out of the inning.
Yeah, big-time play from Landon Brown to get the speedy Hirsch off base. Huff made a nice play, ranging the glove side. I imagine that turf's still pretty wet out there. It looked like maybe didn't have a good grip on it, and Brown bailed him out with a great scoop.
Now the sophomore center fielder, Troy McDonald, batting nearly 500 on the season. 9 extra base hits. First team all-conference, first team all-district. And again, he's doing all of this as a sophomore, 15, 16 years old, having the season that he's having.
Oh, he's a terrific player. You knew from day one last year when he walked on the varsity scene as a rookie that he was going to be a special one. And obviously, as you said, just halfway throughout what's going to be an unbelievable career.
1-0 from McQuarter in there, a called strike, 1-1. McDonald 1 for 3 with a couple RBI in the district semis. Breaking ball on the 1-1, fouled away.
That's what you'll see. Anywhere from a 16 to 22 mile per hour difference is what I've seen from McWhorter throughout his career. And he mixes that fastball and that off speed and comes from a pretty similar arm angle. Tough to pick up.
1-2 offering from McQuarter, low and a bit inside. It's 2-2. We already mentioned the winner of this one, moving on to the regional semis on Wednesday, June 3rd. The 2-2 grounded to the shortstop, Cheadle. Throw on to first, another pick by the first baseman, Landon Brown. Nice play on the right side of the infield. There's 2 down.
Yeah, well called on your part there, Dewey, because, again, Landon Brown, you're talking about 2 plays that probably don't show up as like star web gym types of plays, but I'm telling you at the high school level, those are big-time plays. And imagine how different the inning looks if the speed of Hirsch and McDonald are on with nobody out. Instead, 2 outs, nobody on.
Now the third baseman, Tucker Hopkins. And that's something that you can kind of expect with not only the day, but the week we've had. I mean, it feels like for the last 5, 6, 7 days, it's done nothing but rain. And when that ball's skipping to you, gets into your glove, you expect it to have some moisture on it, but that also goes to the credit of the first baseman, Landon Lowry. You don't know how that ball's going to jump off the turf, if it's going to pop up, if it's going to skip. And so far, he's 2 for 2 in the first strikeout of the evening for Carson McQuarter. A 1-2-3 bottom of the first inning for the Panthers as they take a 4-0 lead into the second inning. We'll step aside here in Chillicothe. You're listening and watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio.
Swinging a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Back here in Chillicothe, top of the second inning in this evening's Division 6 district final. Third meeting of the season between Southeastern and Huntington. So the Panthers picked up a 9-3 win back on April 17th at home, a 2-1 win in the township on May 4th, and now they're going to look to sweep the season series here this evening and move on to the regional tournament next week.
Well, it was a great start for the Panthers there in the top of the first inning. You know, Huff moved into the leadoff spot today and worked a 3-2 count and used that little timeout there, and ended up getting the ball 4 high, and I thought that jump started an inning. Now, Baxter's ball was hit pretty well, but really the Cheadle and the Burns fly balls looked like maybe they didn't get the best to jump on them. They kind of hit them to the right spots, and once those started to fall in, that opened it up for what looked like maybe a 1 or 2 run inning, turned it into a 4-run inning.
Top of the lineup to begin the second inning. Panthers nearly batted around in the first. Yeah, we've mentioned the weather conditions. You got to kind of question how the weather impacts the outfielder's ability to get a quick jump on a fly ball. As the 0-1 pitch swung on and missed, it's 0-2.
Well, that's a great point because you start to not only see it off the bat differently, but then as the ball gets up there in the air, it just didn't look like they got real good beats on some of those fly balls, and they were able to fall in. One right center, one left center.
0-2 on the way from Andrew Oyer. Breaking ball misses down. It's 1-2.
Dewey, you have a tendency as a pitcher when a couple of those balls fall in on you, getting out of character and thinking you got to do a little too much.
1-2 pitch, line drive, left center, down for a base hit. 5th of the game for Southeastern. And the Panthers fill in leadoff man C.J. Huff has now reached base in each of his plate appearances to begin the game.
Yeah, big time performance there. Comes in hitting .377 on base, .444, and gets the first inning started right. Now looking to do the same here in the second.
Colton Baxter a single just an inning ago, part of that 4-hit inning for Southeastern. This one tailor-made up the middle. Hirsch flips to second. Hardesty will hold on to it. And it'll just be one out on the fielder's choice for Colton Baxter. Huff forced out at second. And there's a man on with one away for the shortstop, Gage Cheadle.
Yeah, it looked like Hirsch went himself to the bag, and then a good hard slide in from Huff and decided to eat it there. Does get the lead runner.
So 1-0 they count to Gage Cheadle, an RBI single in the first inning.
Cheadle made a big-time defensive play in that win the other night, going arm side and coming up with the ability to get a force.
1-0 pop to the right side. Here's Calvin Hirsch moving towards the bullpen, off the glove, and it'll fall foul. Looked like he had a good beat on it, but just wasn't able to bring it in for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, tough play in a ballpark you may not know as well. Getting over there close to the fence, it tells you something about that young man's athleticism that he even got there to get the glove on it. He'd probably tell you he should have been able to hold on to it, but that's certainly a plus play, a tough play over there that close to the fence.
One of the big differences between local high school fields and this one is not only the space behind the plate, but the space down the lines in foul territory. This one grounded to the right side and between the legs of Hardesty and into shallow right center. Huff will round second. He's into third standing up, and runners are on the corners with one out for the center fielder, Braden Burns.
Well, in scoring baseball, you can't assume the double play, but they certainly were going to have the lead guy. Now, with Cheadle running, I don't know if they're going to turn that or not. But nonetheless, those are the types of plays. You go from 2 outs, maybe a man on first, and now 1 out on the corners, and Southeastern threatening again to play low out on.
So Braden Burns is single in that first inning. He nearly had an RBI, but we kind of decided that bobble in center by McDonald more or less resulted in that run and coming home. His first pitch swinging is Burns. He's unable to bring it in. A nice throw down to second, and they're going to call Cheadle out as it looked like Hirsch maybe missed that first tag, but again, we've talked about the wet and slippery conditions, and it looks like Cheadle just slid past the bag.
Yeah, that's two incredible athletes right there, just trying to play through the conditions. Cheadle on the stolen base and Hirsch on the tag, and you're right, they come off there and they hold the runner at third, maybe a chance to get out of it.
0-1 misses low and away to Braden Burns. And obviously a much different situation now. You go from first and third with 1 out to just a runner on third with 2 outs, and it really is a big play because it takes away the potential sac fly that would make it a 5-0 game.
Well, and probably, Baxter, a catcher running at third, I still think runs pretty well. But in that case, I think they had already committed the holding. But if he was able to break a little bit more, by the time Hirsch starts to dive back towards center field, he's probably able to come home. But again, that's easy for me to say once the play unfolds. They'd already kind of made the pre-pitch decision.
So they 1-1 from Oyer to Burns. Swung on and missed. It's 1-2.
Big spot here for Huntington. You know, just trying to gather any momentum you can. Southeastern threatening to put another run on the board.
1-2 pitch popped into shallow left field. Alex Long will make the grab, and it's a scoreless frame for Andrew Oyer. The Huntsmen come to the plate in their half of the second inning, trailing Southeastern 4-0. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Great news. Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
Back here in Chillicothe, it's 4-0. Southeastern leading Huntington in this evening's Division 6 district final. As the Huntsmen will look to get onto the board in their half of the second. The middle of their lineup due up. It's Landon Lowry, Calvin Hirsch, and Maverick Hardesty.
Fish at first inning there for McWhorter, aided by some outstanding defensive effort from Landon Brown over there at first base with a couple picks to keep Hirsch and McDonald off. And now, thing about this Huntington lineup, Dewey, they can come at you from a lot of different places because of their speed. So the pitch efficiency will be a big thing for McWhorter here, pitching with the 4-run cushion.
So again, the catcher Landon Lowry to lead things off for Huntington, and it is incredible. We're only an inning and a half into this one, and really the weather has been fairly apparent through the first inning and a half. A lot of key impact plays that maybe wouldn't have happened in the middle of July on a hot, dry day.
No question about it. We were talking in the first game about how the turf field allows us the luxury of getting these games in, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to play on when it gets wet. And we've watched it with about, I would say 3 or 4 throws. We watched it on a slide play. We've watched it maybe with outfielders maybe not picking the ball up as well as normal. So you're exactly right. Certainly impacting.
And truthfully, it doesn't matter how good the drainage system is here. As we have a slight pause. Looks like we'll now begin the bottom of the second. First offering on the way from McWhorter. First pitch swinging is Lowry. Shallow center field. Charging in is Burns, and he'll make the grab, one away.
Yeah, great read from Burns there. He's coming a long way to get that one. He was able to hang up, and he was able to come in and make the play.
And again, back to the weather. It really doesn't matter how good the drainage system is. It's rained like 6 days in a row. It's going to be wet.
No question.
So now the right fielder, Calvin Hirsch. 280 average on the season for Hirsch. He was 1 for 3 with 2 RBI on Saturday. He's in an even 1-1 count here to McWhorter.
Carson Francis telling me bottom of the third, Waterford 2, Eastern Megs nothing. That's the other side of the Division 6 bracket.
Line drive right side through the infield and into shallow right for a 1-out single. First base hit of the evening for Huntington as Hirsch reaches with 1 away.
Yeah, I was impressed with Hirsch as a young hitter, his willingness and his ability to go the other way. Had a triple where he was thrown out at the plate, actually, going for the inside the park home run the other night, showing off that power the other way. That time just goes with a really good pitch and serves it in the right field for a base hit.
So 1 on with 1 out for Maverick Hardesty. So McWhorter steps off the mound. Hardesty, another one of those underclassmen that had a great year so far. 286 hitter, 6 doubles, 15 RBI. He was 3 for 3 against Sims Valley on Saturday. Throw over to first base as Hirsch is back in safely.
Young man can really, really run. His speed can really impact a game if he's able to get on, and he showcased that in the previous round.
McWhorter comes home to Hardesty, ground ball left side, and just foul out of the reach of C.J. Huff at third. It'll be 0-1 to the second baseman, Maverick Hardesty.
So important as an infielder, you not only know where you're going with the ball on every type of ground ball, but who's running.
0-1 pitch. Catches the inside corner. It's 0-2.
Yeah, big-time breaking pitch. Basically started it right at his head and dropped it right in for a strike.
So McWhorter now ahead in the count, 0-2 to Maverick Hardesty. So McWhorter once again throws over to first base. Hirsch is able to get back to the bag in time.
McWhorter with good feet, good move to first, does a good job of doing his part in the run game.
The third pickoff attempt to first base. It's Calvin Hirsch back in safely. And again, not only are you keeping the guy at first honest, but kind of wearing him out a little bit if he were to attempt to take second base. As McWhorter comes home, this one fouled straight back. We'll try the 0-2 offering once more.
Job of Hardesty just fighting off a 2-strike pitch. Again, with Hardesty, his ability to run, what he's trying to do here with 2 strikes is shorten up, get a ball in play, preferably on the ground. If you're McWhorter, you'd like to strike out and put him away.
It's time called in the box by Hardesty.
Getting went fastball up there after he had him froze on the curveball.
0-2 pitch, a breaking ball swung on and missed, and Lowry will attempt to take second, and he's caught in a rundown, and it's a double play for Southeastern. An unconventional one, but that'll get the job done. Another 3 up, 3 down inning for Southeastern. It's 4-0 as we head to the third here in Chillicothe. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
For 175 years, the Glockner name has stood for trust. Today, that promise continues. Every time your family turns the key. Generations have trusted us for one reason. We never stopped caring. From preschool drop-offs to road trips, you leave our service center knowing your family is in the safest hands possible. 175 years of social proof that this isn't just service. It's a promise from our family to yours.
At North Fork Animal Clinic, we're more than your pet's health care. We're your neighbors. We combine top quality veterinary care with the availability you can count on, keeping tails wagging and pets thriving. And as proud supporters of youth sports in Southern Ohio, we're committed to helping our whole community grow strong. North Fork Animal Clinic, caring for pets, supporting our community.
We welcome you back to VA Memorial Stadium here in Chillicothe. It's 4-0 Southeastern leading Huntington in this evening's Division VI District Final. First-year head coach Brad Valentine, obviously on that staff last year at Southeastern that won their first district title in program history. Now in his first year as a head coach, looking to make it 2 in a row for Southeastern.
Yeah, Coach Free and his staff in years past obviously teach a high level of baseball when it comes to fundamental work, and Coach Valentine steps in and continues forward with outstanding pitching. But as I said earlier, I think a big difference in this team is the explosiveness on the offensive side's picked up. As a lot of these guys are a year older, they're stronger, they're faster, and it's really showing up in their ability to come at you offensively in a lot of different ways.
So the senior Carson McWhorter will lead things off for Southeastern. Kessler and Landon Brown, the rest of the do-up this half inning for Southeastern. Andrew Oyer remains on the mound for the Huntsmen. First offering misses down low. It's 1-0.
Thought Oyer was in a better rhythm that last inning, even pitched around what could have been a really costly error, picked his teammates up, and now tries to settle in here.
1-1 now to McWhorter. Southeastern really setting that tone early in the first inning with each of their first 4 batters reaching safely and recording 4 hits in the inning, going up 4-0. It's now 1-2 to McWhorter.
Good pitch there on the outside.
One-two offering grounded to left side, played straight on by Hopkins. Throw on to first is in time, 1 away.
Nice job of Hopkins staying with it, staying in front of the ball. And once he had control of it, had a good grip, able to show off that arm strength.
Now the second baseman, Bryson Kessler, laid down that bunt straight back to Oyer back in the first inning, but was able to reach base safely.
That was the one where Huntington just simply had miscommunication, ended up not getting it out at all.
Kessler, first pitch swinging, swings through that high fastball. It's 0-1.
Kessler did a nice job giving him about 3 innings the other night on the mound, allowing just the 1 run, and that allowed him to kind of set it up to not only use McWhorter to shut the door there, but to still use him today.
So 1-1 the count to the second baseman, Bryson Kessler. Zoyer comes home with a breaking ball that catches that outside corner. It's 1-2. One-two pitch offered by Bryson Kessler, and that'll be the, I believe, first strikeout, or now actually that's going to be the second strikeout of the evening for Andrew Oyer.
Yeah, good sequence there. It kind of shows you where Oyer's at his best. He establishes the outside corner with both the fastball and the curveball, and then once he has you behind in the count, he'll start to just try to stretch off that outside corner and get the chase.
Now the first baseman, Landon Brown, he's had a pretty productive game already at first base, and he hasn't even had a ball hit to him. And he singled back in the first inning, part of that 4-hit top of the first for Southeastern, but he's going to find himself down in the count 0-2 here to Oyer.
Yeah, Oyer works in the high 70s, will sometimes touch 80. I've had a lot of hitters tell me the curveball's so good that the fastball gets on you a little bit. Kind of goes back to the whole thing of, you know, certainly helps to throw hard, but you don't have to if you can locate and place each pitch where you want it to go.
1-2 offering on the way from Oyer, a breaking ball in there. Strike 3 called, back-to-back Ks to end the inning for Andrew Oyer. And a 1-2-3 top of the third for the senior. We'll head to the bottom half. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place. And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
back here in Chillicothe, the bottom of the third inning. Huntington still looking to place that first run on the board. They trail 4-0. It was a 4-run top of the first inning for Southeastern, who really came out of the gate swinging. We mentioned that leadoff walk to C.J. Huff, 3 consecutive singles for Colton Baxter, Gage Cheadle, Braden Burns, and then the other guys with guys on base just continued to put the ball in play. A sac fly for Carson McCorder. Bryson Kessler laid down a bunt. Then you had Landon Brown with a single. That was their last hit of the inning. But, Shane, at the high school level in conditions like we have today, if you get guys on, sometimes you just got to put the ball in play to make things happen. And that really has gone both ways. It's just been the opposite thing happen as Huntington was putting the ball in play, and defensively, Southeastern not making the greatest throws to first base, but Landon Brown bailed him out a couple of times there in that first inning.
Yeah, I can't stress that enough because, to the casual eye, that just looks like, oh, he scooped the ball out of there. But I'm telling you, all of a sudden, the athleticism of Hirsch and McDonald are on to start the first inning, and that whole inning turns to a different outlook. So, yeah, big time play there to help his pitcher and his team settle into the game from Landon Brown.
So the bottom third of the order due up for the Huntsmen. Alex Long, Andrew McKnight, and Andrew Oyer. The Huntsmen did get their first hit of the evening last inning, but Calvin Hirsch was doubled up on a strikeout from Maverick Hardesty as this one's lined right back up to center in front of Braden Burns. And it's going to be a leadoff single for Alex Long.
Yeah, young group here for Coach Carroll, but they won't quit on it. They'll continue to grind and play hard. And the bottom of the order here, if they're able to get something jump started, maybe they could turn it back over to Hirsch and McDonald with a chance to be more RBI guys.
Now the sophomore Andrew McKnight, the man on, and this one's going to get away from Landon Brown. A pickoff attempt from Carson McCorder. Gabe Oates comes in from right field to get it back into the infield, but Long is able to take second base. And the leadoff man is in scoring position now for Huntington.
Well, and that's the counterpoint to the multiple throws over, as you get in a situation where it's such a big ballpark, anything that gets away, it's going to be at least one base. And there they move up and maybe stay out of the force play now.
McKnight batting .256 on the season. 4 extra base hits, 14 RBI. He was 1 for 2 with a run batted in on Saturday.
Landon Brown expecting to bunt way in at first. I don't know out of the 8 hole if that's where Southeastern will go with it.
A 1 offering from McCorder. Bunt is down the third base line from McKnight. McCorder picks it up. Throw on to first is in time to nab the head first diving McKnight, as he bunts Long over to third base. Go down as a sacrifice bunt for McKnight.
Yeah, 1-4. Good job, Kessler, getting over. That was the point I was saying about Southeastern coming in. I thought if McKnight was going to bunt, he'd go the other way with it. Nice job, gets the guy over. Now they'll count on Oyer to try to get him in.
So here's the first offering from McCorder. It's a squared bunt right back to the pitcher, McCorder. He dropped it on the transfer. So Oyer is unable to bring in Alex Long from third, and there's 2 down.
Yeah,
I was interested, Shane, how they were going to play that, because you bunt a guy over to third base for a guy coming to the plate that's 0 for 13 on the season. You almost had to figure it was going to be some kind of squeeze bunt or a safety squeeze.
Yeah, something Huntington does usually really, really well, and you watch them. They got the one bunt down well, got the guy over, just unable to do it again, and cost them a chance to get a guy coming to the plate.
Back to the top of the order now with Frankie Hirsch, who takes a first pitch fastball in there for a called strike. It's 0-1. Really, if there's a guy you want up with 2 outs and a runner in scoring position, Frankie Hirsch going to be towards the top of that list. 392 average with 21 RBI for the junior. It's the 0-1 right back up the middle. It's going to get into center field for an RBI base hit. Frankie Hirsch gets the Huntsmen onto the board as Long scores from third, and it's 4-1. As the Huntsmen cut the deficit down to 3.
Well, it's what you want from your leader. You pick your teammate up, no one feels worse than, oh, you're not being able to get the bunt down and it looks like you're not going to be able to score the run. You want your leader in Frankie Hirsch to step to the plate and deliver, and that's certainly what he did there.
Now the Huntsmen will look to rally, throw over to first base as Hirsch is back in safely, and that's something that McWhorter has shown, Shane, even with the conditions, even with the error a couple batters ago with Long advancing to second base. As here's another throw over to first base. McWhorter not scared to keep his runners honest.
Well, and especially this runner, because he had Hirsch leaning on that first one over. 2-out situation with McDonald in the box. Good time to run.
First offering on the way to McDonald, low and away. A nice scoop behind the plate for Baxter.
Yeah, part of you'd like McDonald to be able to swing with a guy aboard, but there's also in the 2-out spot. Worst case scenario, if he does get thrown out, McDonald lead you off next inning.
So McWhorter steps off the back of the mound. McDonald, one of those 5 tool guys, Shane, that you talked about in the pregame. One of the best players, not only in the conference, but across the Southeast District.
Yeah, outstanding.
1-0 breaking ball taken the other way by Troy McDonald. Coming in from shallow right field was Gabe Oates. Nearly had that force out to get Hirsch at second base, but Hirsch able to go station to station. There's 2 on with 2 out for the 3-hole third baseman, Tucker Hopkins.
That was a little closer than I expected to be. Oates had a good beat on it and came up firing, but now Huntington with a great opportunity. All kinds of speed out there on the bases if Hopkins could find some of that green out there in the outfield.
Hopkins, a .310 average, leads the Huntsmen with 8 RBI. Also their top RBI guy, 25 runs batted in for Hopkins, in a big spot here for the Huntsman third baseman. The first pitch just off that outside corner. It's 1-0. Huntington now looking to rally a little bit. Had that leadoff single, couple of guys get out, but back-to-back base hits for Hirsch and McDonald. 1-0 from McWhorter, a breaking ball high and deep to left field. Welch is giving chase. He's not going to get there. One hopping off the wall. Hirsch is in from second. McDonald around third. He will score. It's a 2-out, 2 RBI double for Tucker Hopkins, and it's a 1-run game.
Yeah, just left the pitch up, and Hopkins shows a little bit of that pop. He turned on one, and that ball had great carry to it all the way to the wall, and with the speed of Hirsch and McDonald, you knew once that ball ended up falling that they were certainly going to come all the way around. And just like that, we talked about no quit in this Huntington team, and they're back within 1.
And there being 2 outs and just how high that ball was hit, you talk about the speed. I mean, McDonald was rounding third before it even touched the ground. So now a runner in scoring position with 2 outs for Landon Lowry. He flew out to center in the second inning. So McWhorter comes home with the 0-1. You talked about it, Shane. It's a young Huntington team, but they're simply not going to give up here in the district round. One swung on, foul back. It's caught by Baxter. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, with the youth, that's why I think it was such a big swing from Frankie Hirsch. You need your best players to step up in clutch times, and he did that and really sparked a rally here.
1-2, chop to the left side. Charging in is Huff on the run. Throw to first in time. Just able to nab Landon Lowry, who was moving up the first base line, but not before the Huntsmen bring in 3. As they cut the lead for Southeastern down to 1. We're going to the 4th. It's a 1-run game in the D6 District Final. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs and Bluetooth speakers make the dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Back here in Chillicothe, it's 4-3 Southeastern leading Huntington after 3 innings here at the VA. And Shane, more or less just how you forecasted this Huntington team not going to go away. They fall down 4-0 after the top of the first inning, kind of sleepwalk through those first couple innings, but then explode in the third, really doing it all with 2 outs as you had that guy on third with 2 outs, and then you get to the top of the order with Frankie Hirsch, Troy McDonald, Tucker Hopkins. Those guys make things happen.
But I really think it's the length of the lineup throughout the year. I think early in SVC play, they lost some one-run games. They lost some different things. And as you watch some of their box scores, if they weren't going at the top of the order, they had trouble going. But if you look here, Dewey, today, you know, Alex Long with that leadoff single out of the 7-hole, and that really sparks what ends up being a 3-run inning. And I think that's the key. As you start to grow, freshmen become sophomores, sophomores become juniors. You get to this time of year, and you really need everybody to be a tough out 1 through 9 if you're going to play at this level.
Talk about the pop in the bat of Tucker Hopkins. He nearly put that one on the road beyond the left field wall. That would have been a big 3-run game-tying home run.
Back in the township, that would have been way up in the trees.
Yeah.
That's a pretty short porch and left there. That ball would have been way out.
So now the 8-9-1 to lead off the 4th inning for Southeastern. It's Landon Welch, Isaac Blake, and back to the top with C.J. Huff. So he remains on the mound for Huntington, comes home to Landon Welch and misses. It's 1-0.
Down here at the bottom of the order, want to be able to fill the strike zone up, make them beat you with the bat.
Hitters count now for Landon Welch. He was down on strikes back in the first inning, one of 3 strikeouts for Andrew Oyer. So the 2-0 in on that inside corner. It's 2-1.
Talked about Oyer, even when he fights his stuff, he'll just continue to compete for you.
3 balls and 1 strike now to Landon Welch. Something we talked about in the pregame winner. With an 8-day break in between the district final and regional semi next Wednesday. Playing the winner, that district winner out of the Central. And that district still in the semis. They're still going to play one of 4 teams to choose from in that district tournament.
Yeah, shy of the pitcher's arms getting some rest. That's some brutal time off.
Line drive to the right side and right at Maverick Hardesty at second base.
Yeah, this time of year when the innings start to mount, you'll take the time off for your pitchers for the recovery. But other than that, those are some long days and practices as seniors have graduated and you're out of school and you're just waiting for game day. That's always been something the Southeast District's had a little bit more wait time.
Now the designated hitter, Isaac Blake, a line out to left field. That ended the first inning.
You hit that ball pretty well to end the first inning.
You talk about as a senior spring sport athlete playing after school ends. I'm 23, and there really hasn't been a feeling. It's just a hard feeling to describe. You're representing a school. You're playing for a school that you really are no longer affiliated with.
Yeah.
This one grounded up the middle. Here's Frankie Hirsch. 2 away.
Nice job of Hirsch understanding the speed of Blake. Charged it hard glove side and made a good play on it. That's a good point. You talk about it's just keeping everybody. Talk about different trips. This kid's going here. This group's going here, and it really is a commitment to see it out with your team from start to finish. And unfortunately, that's not the case in a lot of situations, and it can really hurt a team.
Back to the top of the lineup now with C.J. Huff, and you talk about trips. I remember if we would have made it to the regional semi, that would have collided with when we had planned our senior trip. I was fully ready to just forget about the $1,000 or $1,500 or whatever I had to cough up for that. Is we have an appeal down to first base. Doesn't look like we're actually going to get that appeal.
We talked about that in the first game. What happens is when you don't see the umpire answer the kid, it's got to be the umpire appeal down there, and the umpire felt like he had home plate. It felt like he had a beat on it, so he didn't appeal.
1 ball and 1 strike as Andrew Oyer comes home to C.J. Huff. This one lifted straight away center. McDonald a couple steps back, and it's a 1-2-3 inning, the second consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning for Andrew Oyer, Shane, who seems to have found a little bit of a groove here in the middle innings. We'll take a break. 4-3, Southeastern leading Huntington, middle of the 4th inning here in Chillicothe. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Back here in Chillicothe, Carson McQuarter will return to the mound. It'll be his 4th inning of work here in this evening's Division VI District Final. McQuarter was going pretty easy through the first couple of innings, 6 up, 6 down with a couple of strikeouts for the senior, and really things were looking pretty good last inning. Gave up a leadoff single, but was able to retire the next 2 batters. But then Frankie Hirsch, Troy McDonald, Tucker Hopkins, single, double. That's a 4-3 game.
Yeah, just keep on fighting and give Oyer a lot of credit. He settled back in, and then in that last inning, exactly as a veteran pitcher, what you want to do when your offense gets 3 of them back for you, you want to come out and have a quick 1-2-3 to keep the momentum on your side. He was able to do that. Speaking of momentum, Carson giving me another update. Waterford 7, Eastern Megs nothing. That's that prime example. TVC Hawking battle, 3rd time they've played this year. They played some tight ones. And I always say in high school baseball, change the pitching matchup, change the game sometimes. And that's, I think, that's a little bit of what you're getting there in terms of that game.
And that's really who maybe haven't thought about it as much. That's really the big difference between baseball, softball. Softball, you throw the same pitcher more or less every game, whereas baseball, pitching matchup can more or less change, as you said, the entire game.
No question about it. And that's not to say that throughout the year you don't lean on your 2s and your 3s and your 4s and so forth, but I always refer to it as your tournament lineup. When you put that A lineup out there, it doesn't matter what you might be a team that was under 500 all year, but when so-and-so's on the mound, you haven't lost. Maybe you have a winning record, or even if you have lost, you've done it in a much more competitive fashion. So you're putting a product out there on the field that maybe not be indicative of that entire body of work.
So Calvin Hirsch, the right fielder, will lead things off here in the 4th for Huntington. So McQuarter comes home. It's in there for a called strike, 0-1. I even remember my senior year, we played Zane Trace at home, and I think we beat him 11-1. Then we went over there to their place maybe a month later, and Ben Nichols pitched. We may have had 3 or 4 hits the whole game.
Great example, yeah.
Line drive right at the third baseman, C.J. Huff. Allowed out number 1. As Maverick Hardesty will come to the plate with 1 away here in the 4th.
2 good at-bats from Calvin Hirsch. Had the single to right field earlier, and then certainly right on that one, just hit it right at him.
Hardesty down on strikes back in the 2nd inning. He's 0-1, or he's 0 for 1.
This is where sometimes the strikeout does matter, because with Hardesty, as I said earlier, anything he hits on the ground, he's going to get down that line.
It's the 1-0 pitch. Fouled off towards the playground area, and it's 1-1 to Maverick Hardesty.
That's where this young man's going to team up with some of these other athletes a year from now when he gets just a little bit stronger. This young man's got a chance to be really, really good. So difficult for freshman boys sometimes to step in and play at the varsity level. And as they grow, and a lot of that starts to even out a little bit for them.
It's the 1-1 pitch, swung on and missed. It's 1-2 to Hardesty. It's the 1-2 pitch, fouled straight back. Alex Long, the left fielder, on deck for Huntington, really kick-started that 3-run third inning. The leadoff single got moved over to third base on a sac bunt from Andrew McKnight. The 1-2 misses. It's an even 2-2.
Yeah, McWhorter's so tough with 2 strikes because he can come at you with a couple different pitches.
2-2 pitch, off speed, grounded to left side. Cheadle the backhand onto first, and another pick for Landon Brown, his third of the game. That one probably the easiest of the 3 as it hit the turf in the green. Nonetheless, another great play from Cheadle and Brown for the second out of the inning.
Yeah, really good job of Cheadle of understanding who's running. He came and got it, had to get rid of it quick. So the quick release, he uses the turf to the advantage, and again, Landon Brown up to the challenge on the other end.
Now the left fielder, Alex Long, 1 for 1 on the day with a single and a run scored. O2 offering on the way, line drive, right side, a leaping grab for Landon Brown, a 1-2-3 fourth inning for Carson McWhorter. It's 4-3, Southeastern leading Huntington, top of the 5th inning when we return to Chillicothe. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Richer. Countless nights in the garage. 8 shiny new pistons. 1 very happy 16-year-old granddaughter. And 2 years since starting cancer treatment at Ohio Health.
Back here in Chillicothe, top of the 5th inning at VA Memorial Stadium. It's 4-3, Southeastern leading Huntington. So the Panthers, with the heart of their lineup due up this half inning, will look to add on to what was a 4-run lead, now a 1-run lead, thanks to that 3-run third inning offensively for Huntington. It's 2, 3, and 4. Colton Baxter, Gage Cheadle, Braden Burns in the first inning. Those 3 had 3 consecutive singles that heavily aided that 4-run top of the first for the Panthers.
This game's such a great illustration of why you have to go to the next play and not worry about what's already happened. You can't change it. In the first inning, I thought Huntington failed to do that. I thought they could have got out of that down 2-0, maybe 3-0. Instead, it went to 4-0 where they weren't able to get an out on the bunt and so forth. But to their credit, Southeastern looked like they were going to play a little add-on in that second inning, and they were able to get out of that jam. And as a result, once the Huntington offense responds, they put 3 on the board, and now we're back in a and a tight one the way we thought this game would be as we get into the middle innings. I thought it would be more of a 2-1, 3-2 game, but the only thing I wondered about was what I asked you about in the pregame. These teams know each other so well. Once you see a guy more and more and more and more, you at least get a little bit more comfortable with what they're going to throw at you. And I think you've seen that a little bit. Both of these lineups have had some good swings.
And Shane, really for the arms on the mound, other than a couple bumpy innings, they've both been fairly dominant. I mean, you look at Carson McCorder, other than that 3-run third inning, it's been 3 up, 3 down in the other 3. And even for Andrew Oyer, other than that 4-run first inning, it's been 2 3 up, 3 down innings and an inning where he only faced 4. So other than those big inning outputs offensively for both sides, both starting pitchers have been fairly efficient today.
Yeah, really big inning for Oyer here when you think of Baxter, Cheeto, and Burns. This is one that you really want to try to put a 0 up to get your offense back in there.
Now 2 balls and no strikes to the catcher, Colton Baxter. He's 1 for 2 with a single in the first. Came around to score in that first inning. So the Panthers hold a 1-run, 4-3 lead over Huntington here in the top of the 5th. 2-0 popped up left side. The third baseman, Hopkins, will give a little bit of chase, but this one's into the parking lot, and it's 2-1.
After those first 4 or 5 batters, I feel like Oyer's been able to get the ball out of the middle of the plate a little bit. I thought there to Baxter and Cheeto and Burns, although there were some balls that I don't know that they were hit real well, but they were certainly left up out over the plate a little bit, and he's starting to locate just a little bit better as the day goes on.
Oyer has only allowed 1 base runner since that first inning. This one grounded hard to the left side off of the glove of Hopkins. He'll re-corral it and on to first. Nice recovery from Hopkins as he's able to pick it up off the turf and get it across the diamond for the first out of the inning.
Yeah, it really was well done. Know who's running there. He got the extra step, and ball was hit really hard. Once he picked it up, that's the second time today where he's been able to show off that arm a little bit.
Now the shortstop, Gage Cheadle. We have a meeting here between the home plate and third base umpires. Doesn't look like we have any current defensive changes.
Might have been a warning on the bat.
To throw the bat after.
Yeah, I think the way Coach Valentine was, his mannerisms toward his assistant coach over in the dugout, I think maybe a warning there on just making sure they drop the bat correctly.
So nobody on, 1 out for the shortstop, Gage Cheadle. As we talked about, nearly batting .500 on the season. He singled in the first. Just won an swing down the first baseline, and Carson Smith will let it go foul. You thought maybe he might get it before it went foul and maybe try to tag out Cheeto before he ran past him, but obviously Cheeto, one of the more athletic athletes in the South Valley Conference. That's a gamble that Smith obviously was not willing to take.
Well, I think that's what the Huntington dugout's saying. I think they realized how much of a gift that could be, an swing. Now you give Cheeto new life.
Breaking ball finds the zone. It's 0-2. Oyer ahead here to Gage Cheeto. Cheeto down on the count. Here's the 0-2 offering. It's down low and a bit outside. It's now 1-2.
Yeah, you're pitching ahead in the count way more here in the last couple innings.
1-2 on the way, and it's dribbled to the right side off the mound as Oyer. Throw on to first is over the head of Smith and into right field. Calvin Hirsch will pick it up. I believe we may have an obstruction call at first base. No, they're going to call Cheadle out as he was moving up the line. Is it an offensive
Well, I think they're going to
obstruction call?
From my angle, they're going to say that he was running inside the line rather than in the running lane, and as Oyer picked the ball up, they're going to say that it forced him to. That's what ended up having the throw go high. Big break there. It's the difference between Cheadle being out at second base with 1 out. Instead, you got 2 outs, nobody on. That's a big call.
And again, that goes back to the weather impacting the game as Oyer sailed that one into shallow center field. And as you said, Shane, if it hadn't been for the base runner interference, Gage Cheadle standing on second base with 1 out for Braden Burns. But instead, Andrew Oyer going to be looking to nail down what would be his 3rd consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning.
Caught Calvin Hirsch in right field a little off guard, too. He was playing a little bit more toward the gap, and then the ball off the bat was such a weird ball. He was kind of late to break to back up at first, so Cheetah was going to easily move up.
So now the center fielder, Braden Burns, he's 1 for 2 today with a single in the 1st inning, and a breaking ball from Oyer finds the zone. It's 0-1.
That's the pitch that he was having trouble landing, in my opinion, early on. He just struggled to find the release point, and as the day goes on, he's starting to find it just a little bit more.
1-1 now to Braden Burns. Pitch number 67 coming up for Andrew Oyer. And it's on the outside corner, 1-2. Very similar location to that 0-1 offer.
Yeah, and he just gets real stubborn with it on that outside corner. And then when he's able to locate the fastball there, you'll notice how he throws it. He stands on that first base side of the mound.
1-2 pitch, swung on and missed. Picked cleanly behind the plate from Lowry. And it's a 1-2-3 top of the 5th inning for Andrew Oyer. 4-3, middle of the 5th inning here in Chillicothe, Southeastern leading Huntington. We're going to take a quick break. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Glow Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glow Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glow Fiber is here. Welcome to Glow Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLOW or visit glowfiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Eight, 9-1 due up here in the 5th inning for the Huntsmen. Andrew McKnight, Andrew Oyer, and back to the top with Frankie Hirsch. Huntington trails Southeastern 4-3, bottom of the 5th inning. Here in this evening's Division VI District Final, winner moving on to the regional semis next Wednesday. We've talked about that traditional Southeast District week extended layoff that seems to come each and every season in between that district and that regional round.
Yeah, certainly a factor there. And, I was looking down at my book during the break there. Oyer's really settled in over these last 4 innings. He's allowed the 5 Southeastern hits, 4 strikeouts. But remember what we talked about, he just doesn't walk people. And unfortunately for him, he walked the first batter of the game. And since then, he's been really sharp. But that first batter kind of set the table for what ended up being the 4 runs. He's had 2 errors made behind him. He's able to pitch around that second one. So overall, getting what we thought we would get from these 2 right-handers, give both offenses credit. The inning that they had a chance to capitalize, they've been able to do so and get some runs on the board.
So here's the designated hitter, Andrew McKnight. Sophomore laid down a sac bunt in the 3rd inning. That moved Alex Long, who had advanced to second on a pickoff attempt error, to 3rd base, eventually coming in to score on that Frankie Hirsch RBI single, part of that 3-run 3rd inning for the Huntsmen. McKnight batting .256 on the season. He was 1 for 2 with an RBI on Saturday and takes the first offering from McQuarter for a ball. It's 1-0.
Eastern got 3 runs back, but still trail Waterford 7-3 in the 6th. Appreciate Carson Francis keeping us updated on that one.
McWhorter steps off the back of the mound. I believe Eastern Meigs was the team Southeastern defeated in the regional semis last year on that run to the Elite Eight. Just one line to the right side. Bryson Kessler unable to get there. Throwing in from right field is Gabe Oates, but a sliding effort from Andrew McKnight will result in him getting a leadoff single here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, never been a big fan of the slide into first unless, you know, coming up the line you can visibly see the first baseman being pulled off and you know that they're going to swipe a tag. As far as getting there as fast as you can, I always prefer the run through the bag.
So the leadoff man aboard Oyer squares to bunt this one perfectly up the first baseline, and this time Brown will charge, but Oyer is able to evade the tag and reach base safely. So we've now seen 2 examples. We talked about it with Carson Smith for Huntington. Should he have charged it or just let it go foul? And now you kind of see the thought process for Carson Smith. If he would have charged it, would have Cheadle have evaded the tag? But now we see it here with Oyer. He's able to do that, and kind of looks like Billy Hamilton against the Pirates, I don't know, maybe 10 years ago, where he slammed on the brakes and ran around the pitcher to reach base safely.
It also shows you, why Oyer was so upset with himself earlier. Andrew Oyer, a good bunter, just couldn't get it down earlier. That time he does, and now Huntington in business here.
So the first 2 men aboard, nobody out as the lineup turns over to Frankie Hirsch.
Hirsch would be one of the rare, I would say maybe one of 2 or 3 hitters in the Huntington lineup that wouldn't be bunting here. Probably going to go ahead and give him a chance to rip.
And Shane, depending on how you scored, I'm going to score it as a hit. That's the first base hit of the season for Andrew Oyer.
Yeah.
Comes at a pivotal time as you got 2 on with nobody out. A 1-1 count to your leadoff man, Frankie Hirsch. He's 1 for 2 today with an RBI single in the 3rd inning.
That was a big time play by Baxter there. That ball goes to the backstop, and all of a sudden now you go 2nd and 3rd in a 1-run game with Hirsch, McDonald, and Hopkins come calling. So big play from Baxter there to keep some forces in play.
So 4-3 here in the bottom of the 5th inning. Southeastern leading Huntington, but the Huntsmen threatening here with 2 on and nobody out.
Southeastern still not convinced that he may not still bunt.
Pitch number 52 on the outing coming up for Carson McWhorter. Here's the 1-1 Noah throw back to second, and it goes into center field. Gets past Gage Cheadle. McKnight will advance to third, and on the throw advancing from first is Oyer. It's 2nd and 3rd, both runners in scoring position with nobody out here in the 5th inning.
Big play there now. Both runners move up, and as I said, Huntington couldn't script it better in terms of who they have at the plate. Just a matter of letting your guys swing away now and see if you can't get even or get ahead.
It's the 2nd error on a pickoff attempt for McWhorter this evening. It's the 1-1 pitch fouled back, a breaking ball, and it's 1-2.
Dewey, you gave a lot of the numbers earlier in terms of the strikeout totals of this young man throughout his career. Tall task to get the talent of a Hirsch, but if you could ever use a strikeout, here would be one of them with a guy down there at third, less than 2 outs.
1 ball and 2 strikes to the shortstop, Frankie Hirsch. As Carson McWhorter comes home. On the outside corner, called strike 3 for the first out of the inning. A big one at the top of the order for Carson McWhorter.
Yeah, 85 on the black. It's been what's so impressive about him. He's got that in the tank whenever he needs it. As his career's gone on, I feel like he's learned how to work at 81, 82, 83, and then when he needs 85, 86, 87, he can go get it. He went into the back pocket there and pulled out one of his best fastballs of the day, painting the black.
Now the center fielder, Troy McDonald, stands in. Same situation for McDonald, 2 on, now with 1 out. Tying run at third base, go-ahead run at second base, and Andrew Oyer. So the infield plays, and here's the first offering from McWhorter.
I'm going to say, gets ahead of him, he might go after him. Keep in mind, first base open. And then also keep in mind, every pitch, incredible pressure on Colton Baxter. You got a guy out there throwing mid-80s with an off-speed pitch that's pretty nasty. You got to keep everything in front.
As the 0-1 finds the zone, it's 0-2 to McDonald.
So what the best pitchers do is they go and they reach for a little extra right here. Great battle between two outstanding players. Incredible pitcher on the mound, incredible player in the box.
Oh, 2 pitch from McCorder, fouled away. McDonald staying alive here in the 5th inning with the tying run at 3rd.
Big thing for McDonald here to remember. Not try to do too much with 2 strikes. You got good speed down there at 3rd. You're just looking to get a ball in play. The infield in. Hard ground ball in the turf's got a chance to get through. If you fight a ball off and you bloop it out there, you got that much more space with them all the way in. Easier said than done against the likes of McWhorter, but got to get the ball in play here.
Infield remains in for Southeastern. No balls and 2 strikes as McDonald calls time in the box. Pretty heavy crowd for this Division VI district final. 0-2 on the way. This one nearly catches Brad Valentine on the top step of the Southeastern dugout. And we'll try the 0-2 offering once more with McCorder and McDonald.
Good pitch, good piece of hitting. Again, if you love baseball, this is a lot of fun here. This matchup, looking at this cat and mouse between pitcher and hitter.
Oh, 2 to McDonald. Upstairs now 1-2. You talk about McCorder's ability to work around the zone in the mid to low 80s, but his ability to pump things up there, 87 at the top of the zone.
Yeah, that you could tell he went and got a little extra there, and again, that's why you save a little bit of the tank when you need it, and need it now more than ever.
McCorder steps off the back of the mound, and McCorder appeared to call Baxter to the mound, but Baxter more or less told him to get back on the mound and take care of this batter.
Other interesting thing, when the infield's in, notice how Oyer gets as far as Cheeto will let him go there. A lot of space. Singles are going to score 2 here.
1-2 pitch, a breaking ball at the top of the zone now, 2-2. It's nearly the entire lower bowl filled up in the grandstand here at the VA, and even some fans in the red backless seats at the top of the grandstand. It's the 2-2 pitch fouled away. A strong at-bat here for McDonald. I believe this will be the 9th pitch coming up.
Yeah, what a great battle. Again, like I said, if you don't like this situation, you probably just don't like the sport very well. But you talk about even the crowd got a little tension to it. I think they can sense that this is a big part in the game here in the middle of the 5th inning.
I believe it's actually the 7th pitch. You had a 2-2 count and a couple of foul balls. It may have been 3. But either way, McDonald and McCorder having quite the battle here with 1 away in the 5th inning. 2-2 off the outside corner, and the count is now full to Troy McDonald.
Yeah, Baxter's got to be careful throwing the ball back there. Cheadle's doing a good job of backing up every throw. Keep in mind, though, in this battle, first base open, you don't have to give in to a guy that I'm sure on the scouting report was labeled as a guy you don't want beating you.
Payoff pitch on the way from McCorder. It's popped up right side. Landon Brown giving chase. And it's out of play. We'll try it again.
Yeah, I'm with you. I lost count. 8 or 9 pitches. What a great at-bat.
Number 9 now.
Yeah, what a great at-bat. Huff also holding a little tighter over there at first base, trying not to give McKnight too much of a secondary lead, but also opens up a little bit more of a ground ball hole there. But so far, he's been staying away from him. Let's see if he comes back in.
3-2 pitch on the way. Breaking ball, smoke to left field. Landon Welch giving chase, but he's not going to get there, and one hops the wall. McKnight scores. Oh, you're in from second. Here's McDonald to third. Relay in from left is not in time. A 1-out, 2 RBI triple for Troy McDonald.
What a big time at bat and a big time swing that was. He did come back in, left it up just a little bit, and big swing down the left field line. 2 guys score easy. His speed brings it all the way around the third, and Huntington's come all the way off the mat to take a 5-4 advantage.
McDonald now 2 for 3 on the day with a run scored and 2 RBI. Now the third baseman Tucker Hopkins, who delivered a 2 RBI double back in the third inning. Huntington down 4-0 after the top of the first inning. Has now fought back to plate 5 unanswered runs and take a 1-run lead here in the bottom of the 5th.
Question there from the Southeastern dugout. They got the answer and returned on back, and now still a big spot. A lot of baseball to go. Giving Oyer.
So it looks like our first base umpire is calling time as Huntington's first base coach is running to the dugout. I believe that may have been a bit of a sideline warning on the Huntington dugout. As
high emotional play, you certainly understand that, but you got to get your guys back there, so they let them know there. If you're Southeastern, you got to be aware of Huntington putting anything and everything on right here.
So a brand new ball game here in the 5th inning. It's 5-4 Huntington leading Southeastern, and really a heavily, with how this game has gone, a heavily needed insurance run on third base and McDonald with Tucker Hopkins at the plate. Still only 1 out in the inning as McCorder comes home. Ground ball up the middle. McDonald running in from third, and he's going to run right into a tackle, though he may have evaded it. The home plate umpire will call him out. As McDonald was running home on contact as Hopkins reaches first on the fielder's choice.
Yeah, he's coming off of the contact. You're exactly right. He was hoping that ball was going to miss the glove of McWhorter. McWhorter did a nice job knowing exactly where he wanted. So chance to get out of this, only down the 1 run.
Five, 6, 7 due up the next half inning for Southeastern. As the catcher Landon Lowry, first pitch swinging, sends this one out of play.
That's what we talked about earlier, Huntington was on the other side of this earlier. Now Southeastern's on it. You have to play the next play. You never know what the final score will require, so you got to keep it at a 1-run game. If you're Southeastern, you still have 6 big outs left of offense to play.
Pickoff attempt to first base, head first slide from Hopkins. Hey, this is about as dark and gloomy as I've ever seen. Even with the lights on it, I'm surprised guys can even see the baseball. It's the 0-1. Misses low. It's 1-1 now. Throw down to first. Gets away from the first baseman, Landon Brown, and into deep right field.
That's going to take him all the way to third.
Hopkins will round second. He's into third safely. And it's an error on the catcher, Colton Baxter, that'll put an insurance run on third base for Huntington.
Yeah, he had no idea the ball was coming. Now we're going to get a timeout where I'm going to try to just, this is more for just to reset the team than anything. You got to recognize, look, guys, we got 2 outs. Let's focus in here on the hitter and get an out, but that changes the inning once again.
Game number 3 this evening, Huntington and Logan Elm. That's a Division 4 district final, I believe. Isn't it a district final? Those semis were.
Yeah, Wheelersburg
on Saturday.
Wheelersburg knocked off Courthouse in a good game, and then Logan Elm beating Uniota. Should be a good one. Good pitching staffs and good teams. Our Logan Elm team's extremely athletic. They can come at you offensively in a couple different ways, and they've got multiple arms.
And those are two schools that before this year, I don't know if they've ever played in anything. I mean, that's just a matchup you don't plan on seeing a lot, but obviously with Wheelersburg moving up to Division IV in baseball, it was very possible come tournament time.
Yeah, we talked about that the other day. You get the truer competitive balance.
It's the 1-1 to Lowry is blooped into right field, and that's going to drop in for a base hit. A 2-out RBI single for Landon Lowry, and it's 6-4 Huntington.
Yeah, big time piece of hitting there. So now the two-run error, or excuse me, the two-base error ends up showing itself there as an insurance run for Oyer and the Huntsmen.
McCorder talks with the second base umpire. He'll now converge with the first base umpire. Of course, during tournament time, we're blessed with that 4-umpire setup versus the standard 2-umpire setup you typically see during the regular season.
It's been a long inning here, too, if you're Oyer. Now, keep in mind, clear back when this thing started, Oyer was out there on base involved in it, but he's been sitting quite a while now, but I'm sure he doesn't mind having the 6-4 advantage to take it back to the mound with him.
So now the right fielder, Calvin Hirsch. Hirsch 1 for 2. He singled in the second, was doubled up on a strikeout from Maverick Hardesty. Line down to the third baseman, C.J. Huff. A hard line out from Hirsch last inning. It looks like we now have not only darkness, but some rain to go alongside it. It's the first pitch to Calvin Hirsch, finds the zone. It's 0-1. If you had any questions why we don't have a center field camera today, this is more or less the reason why. Is, man, the last week has just been brutal, especially for it to come in the district round of the spring sports season.
Well, especially after we haven't had a whole lot of rain throughout the entire year.
You know, it rained on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday of last week, and you started looking at the weather forecast, and it's like, man, it's about to rain for the next 7 or 8 days. I mean, this is going to be brutal. And, you know, we've talked about how here at the VA you have the drainage system. It downpours for 3 hours, and 20 minutes later it doesn't even look like it rained. But for any of the sites similar to Bob Wren Stadium at OU, it rains, 5-6 days in a row. You're going to have a problem. This one line to the left side, past the diving glove of C.J. Huffman down the left field line. Around second into third is Lowry. He slides in safely, and it's a 2-out double for Calvin Hirsch.
Yeah, Hirsch had hit the ball hard the 2 previous times up. Had a base hit to right to show for it. The last time he hit a ball probably even better than that, but right at the third baseman. That time he sneaks it just past the diving C.J. Huffman out in the left field, and the 2-out bingo continues to go in the favor of the Huntington Huntsmen.
5 hits in the inning for the Huntsmen. 2 of them have gone for extra bases. It's second and third with 2 outs. And they're going to say McCorder balked. Both runners are going to move up 90 feet, and it's 7-4.
Well, you certainly take that. Now Hirsch moves over to third and up to 7-4, and every run matters here is getting these conditions.
It's a 4-run inning for Huntington on 5 hits. Runner on third with 2 outs. Maverick Hardesty first pitch swinging. And it's 0-1. I tell you, Shane, the rain is really coming down now. I'm kind of surprised they haven't headed to the dugouts yet as the 0-1 misses up and in. It's 1-1. because it really is hard to see the rain on the broadcast. But if you look at the top of the dugouts, I mean, you can tell it's raining hard. And I think they are going to sit into the dugouts.
And probably had no choice at that point. Like you said, certainly could have justified it a few batters earlier.
And obviously, just getting into this rain delay, it's kind of hard to already take any guesses. But sometimes at the major league level, you'll see if a game goes into a rain delay in the first couple innings. And it doesn't happen a lot because typically if the guys that make the decision see the rain is going to come, they'll just go ahead and push the start time back regardless. But sometimes when games get delayed early in games, you'll see a starting pitcher, he'll just leave the game because, he threw 25 pitches, but he had to sit on it for an hour. Is this a spot now where maybe you expect a different pitcher to come out of the dugout for Southeastern after this rain delay? As McCorder's up to 72 pitches, and you got to figure we're in for at least a 30 to 40-minute delay here.
Yeah, it's a tough call. Carson and I actually had this the other day in the courthouse game where Osborne was coming back out for the sixth inning. We went to rain delay. I think it was probably about 40 minutes or so, and when he had come back, he did not come back out to the mound. It's a tough call, and you throw in Oyer the same way. We were just talking about how long the inning was anyway. Well, now you're going to add this on top of that. You just got to know your kid, you got to know their arm, know the situation, and see. It's been a weird weather pattern. Maybe this will move through quickly again, the field, but what a big time response from Huntington there, and then you get yourself into this situation here where you're able to play a little add-on, and it's been a really good inning for the Green.
And we'll obviously keep everybody updated with any updates that come our way. Again, with the turf, you never really know how long the delay is going to go. Typically, it's about how long it's raining plus 10 or 20 minutes to get reacclimated and re-warmed up for both teams. So we'll go ahead and take a break, as this rain delay will most certainly be longer than whatever ad we can run. And we'll come back with more information here in Chillicothe. It's 7-4, Huntington leading Southeastern here in the bottom of the fifth inning with 2 outs in this evening's Division 6 district final. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Glo Fiber is now in Ohio. And with gig speed fiber internet, we're keeping things real. As in real reliable speeds. Real people who really want to talk to you. Not to mention, real simple pricing. Switch to Glo Fiber today to get real fast, real reliable fiber internet and your first month free. Glo Fiber is here. Welcome to Glo Ohio. Call 1-833-WANT-GLO or visit glofiber.com to switch today.
Kimberly. Tons of practice. One chop away from a black belt. 7 of the best sidekicks. And 5 years since her cancer diagnosis at Ohio Health.
Swinging a liner to left field. Pates will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit well. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget, as well as 60 months, 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Back here in Chillicothe, bottom of the fifth inning, a weather delay here at VA Memorial Stadium. It's 7-4, Huntington leading Southeastern. Just a quick recap for anybody that's just now tuning in during the delay or maybe checked in around the halfway point of the game. Southeastern jumped out to a 4-0 lead in the top of the first inning. A leadoff walk issued to C.J. Huff, and then 3 consecutive singles from Colton Baxter, Gage Cheadle, Braden Burns. A sac fly from Carson McCorder and 4 runs coming in for Southeastern. And Carson McCorder was dealing to start the game, back-to-back 3-up, 3-down innings through the first couple of innings, but then a 3-run bottom of the 3rd inning for Huntington brought the Huntsmen to within 1. And then a 4th inning, not a lot going on. Both orders were retired in order. And then here in the bottom of the 5th inning, we're not even done with it yet. A 4-run explosion, I believe, on 5 hits for the Huntsmen. They sit in front 7-4 on a big 5th inning.
Yeah, they were able to kind of get to him a little bit in the 3rd, and then looked like McWhorter settled back in the 4th. But then in the 5th inning, all made possible from the bottom of the order getting this started. Remember, it was 8-9-1. McKnight reached, and then when Oyer sent the bunt up the first baseline, I thought that was a big play in the inning. He was able to kind of, for lack of a better way to describe it, chase the bunt, put the first baseman in a little bit of a pickle, and then he was able to avoid the tag. And once he got on, now give McWhorter credit, he got the backward K of Frankie Hirsch, and it looked like he was going to have a chance to get damage control. He got ahead of McDonald, and that at bat, you and I thought it was somewhere around the 9 or 10 pitch mark. And then he ended up leaving one on the inner half, and McDonald with a big swing down the left field line, bringing in a couple. And then Huntington just kind of rode that momentum. Tucker Hopkins and then Lowry extend the inning. Hurst with a double down the line, and then that's when they ended up stopping things. Just kind of what was mistake-free baseball for Southeastern through the early part of it kind of catches up with them here, and kind of not being able to make a couple plays. You give extra outs, and then you give big-time players extra swings, and that's kind of the way they cash in.
But in Shane, in the pregame, and I'm sure you and John probably talked about it all season long on Overtime presented by Perfection One. We talk about the big strikeout numbers for Carson McCorder. I've been impressed this evening with Huntington's ability to just put the ball in play. We're nearly through 5 innings, and McCorder only with 3 strikeouts. I would assume that's well below his average strikeouts per inning. Huntington just doing a great job kind of forcing the issue, putting the ball in play. And we've talked about it 2 or 3 times in that first inning. If it weren't for a couple of nice scoop plays over at first base, that could have been a multi-run inning for Huntington.
Yeah, it really could. And I think what happens is, in baseball, when you're facing a good pitcher, the first time you see him, it's advantage pitcher. And the second time you see him, it's probably, if they're that good, still advantage pitcher. But as the season goes on, as your career goes on, because, again, these guys have grown up playing against each other, the more you see a guy, now all of a sudden, you know how good they are. The respect's there. Like, he's phenomenal. But you start to think, okay, I've seen him get hit a little bit. Or I've been able to get a bat on him, and I've been able to get him in play. And the more you see him, the strikeout numbers come down and you get a ball in play. This is a big ballpark, one that lends itself to a lot of offense when you put the ball in play. And I think that's what you've seen here as the game goes on. Both of these pitchers have bulldogged their way through the way we knew they would. But offense is starting to get the things there. And then obviously the conditions in that inning, I'm sure, didn't help things on the defensive side. I always felt like when the sky's open, I certainly feel fortunate to be on offense instead of defense, and I thought that was a big factor as well. That's just the luck of the draw sometimes.
And, if you watch a lot of Major League Baseball, typically during weather delays, they'll throw a rerun up of some game from the past. We obviously don't have that capability. That would be pretty cool if we could just flip up, a district game from, years past, or even a different sport, or, throw up that game you and Carson just did a couple of hours ago. Still one game to come later on this evening. Obviously, that originally scheduled, I think, for a 6 p.m. start time. That is not going to happen.
6:30, I believe it was. So, yeah,
that's probably not going to happen either. So you're probably looking at a 7 p.m. or later start time for Logan Elm and the new to Division IV Wheelersburg Pirates in a D4 district final. Both of those teams winning semis on Saturday. I believe I believe Wheelersburg beat Washington Courthouse. Logan Elm beat Unyoda this past Saturday here at the VA. And I think that D4 region goes to OU, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that. I know typically that's where D4 has gone in the past. Obviously, last year we kind of went with Unyoda down to Bob Wren Stadium as they picked up a regional final win. First time in a long time over Indian Creek. And that was actually the first time we've ever done baseball outside of VA Memorial Stadium, and it was a pretty nice setup down there.
Really was, and we got a chance, if I remember right, also got through South Webster.
Yep, Newark Catholic.
Newark Catholic, and obviously Newark Catholic was an outstanding team. South Webster has a lot of hope of repeating that type of run. They're going to run into a really good arm here in district play.
So 7-4 here in the bottom of the fifth inning. A weather delay as Brad Valentine, Chad Carroll, and Chad Jenkins take a stroll around the bases. I'll tell you one thing, no matter what for the rest of the night, I guarantee you there will be at least one overslide of a base that probably results in an out. As you know, it was already a little damp. We saw it with, I think it was Cheadle earlier in the game who overslid second base. It may have been somebody else, but overslid second base, and that was before this downpour we had. I think you guys had a bit of a sprinkle during the first game, but nothing compared to what we just had
like
for about
that.
10 minutes.
In fact, Carson picked up on that in our first game a little bit, but I never thought it was anything that impacted play. The thing there in that inning, you and I were both coming up on that decision at the same time. If like you could start to see it impacting the pitch to the plate and so forth, and that's tough. You know, like they're out there right now looking at the conditions, and maybe Coach Carroll, Coach Valentine could like race for us in this or something for some rain delay entertainment.
Well, and this is typically the time. I think I only did it once as a player where you see somebody grab an old batting practice ball and, you know, write down a little X's and O's chart, and they start playing tic-tac-toe across the diamond. But that obviously would depend heavily on the relationships between the two teams. If you got a couple of teams that just can't stand each other, you're not probably going to have a friendly game of tic-tac-toe in between a rain delay.
Well, and these delays, too, obviously feel differently for the two teams. I mean, let's be honest, right? I mean, it's one team with the momentum, and you take a 7-4 advantage, so you're a little bit eager. Chance for Southeastern to reset a little bit. They got to get out of this inning, and then, you know, you still got a lot of offense to play, and you got to come back. And you made a great point that's had my coaching wheels turning here in terms of, like, how do you handle your pitchers here? And I don't know the answer to that. You just got to know your kids and know the situation and try to really monitor it. Obviously, you don't want to put anybody at risk, but at the same time, you want to give them an opportunity to compete.
I tell you, I am kind of slightly monitoring. So I always pull up Game Changer on my phone because it obviously keeps track of pitch count. If you have any defensive changes that you can't really see their number, you can see it on your screen. I'm kind of monitoring to see if at any point they take McCorder out on the Game Changer, because you got to figure they're going to do that before they take the field. Yeah. So obviously if we do see anything like that, we will relay that. We haven't received any official restart time, but you got to figure once Chad Jenkins makes his way off the field, we'll more than likely have some kind of update, because it does appear the heavy rain, if not all of the rain, has kind of subsided here at about 5:48 p.m. We talked about the original start time for Game 3 this evening being set somewhere between 6 and 6:30. That's obviously going to be a little bit after, because not only is this game going to take another 45, 60 minutes to wrap up, then you're going to have the trophy presentation, and then both teams for the next game are going to have to warm up, and you're probably looking about an hour start time after the conclusion of this one.
Yeah, no question about it. Hey, on the other half of the Division 6, Carson Francis just let us know Waterford did take down Eastern 8-3. So there's an example where the 2 seed goes down after they win 2 during the regular season. Waterford comes back and gets them, and we're kind of starting to look at it this way, albeit Huntington the higher seed here after losing twice in the regular season, trying to flip the script here. And obviously a lot of baseball to play, but as of now, ahead 7-4 on the scoreboard.
Baseball is just one of those sports where, each and every day, no matter what kind of personnel you have, you still got to throw the ball, you still got to catch the ball, you still got to hit the ball. I remember my senior year, like the last week of the regular season, we go over to Miami Trace. They beat us like 11-2, and then 2 weeks later in the district semis, I think we beat them 2-1. So it's just, you got to go out there, you got to make plays, and it's something we talked about. One missed pick, one error. I mean, it can change a baseball game, or just one big inning like Huntington was having prior to the rain delay.
It is, and that's what makes baseball such a great game, and it's where it brings a little bit more parity than maybe some sports are going to offer you. A lot of times in football, if you get real even teams, you might get one of those. But a lot of times it's just the bigger, faster, stronger is going to win out, or even on the basketball court, you see a little bit of that. And, you and I do a lot of volleyball together, which I enjoy. You just don't see a lot of upsets. The nature of volleyball, you're playing to 25, you're playing best of 5. You're just not going to get a lot of upsets. Baseball, the better team is usually more times not going to come out on top, but you see a lot more opportunity for the upset because of what you just described. Maybe it's a pitching matchup. Maybe certain guys hit a couple hard shots right at people that day instead of finding, hit it where they ain't, we like to say, right? And I think we've watched a little bit of that unfold here in this one, and it's made for some really entertaining baseball. I don't think we anticipated I don't think we anticipated the score quite getting this high, but that's what can happen when guys really compete in the box and get the ball in play.
And Southeastern, it does look like it's going to be McCorder out of the dugout. Southeastern appears to be ready to go. Huntington's still warming up down the left field line. We've talked a lot about baseball today. Obviously, a district final here today between Southeastern and Huntington, but here at VA Memorial Stadium, home of the Chillicothe Paints, they opened up their 2026 season, or they are set to open up their 2026 season tonight, 7 p.m. over in Johnstown against the Mill Rats. They're there tomorrow at 11 a.m. and then back home Thursday night, a Thirsty Thursday, against the newly formed Kokomo Creek Chubs. Had to make sure I read that one right. 7:05 p.m. here at the VA. And again, a Thirsty Thursday, a pretty favorable way if you're a fan to start off the summer here in Chillicothe.
Look, the Chillicothe Paint's been a staple of the community for a long, long time now. I grew up real close to the ballpark here back in high school, and Chillicothe Paints were becoming a newer thing there, and it's just been real fun. It is. It's something that's fun for all ages, and they do a great job of getting the community involved and the kids involved. And I know as someone who coached high school baseball for a long time, I always appreciated Brian Wickline, Chillicothe Paint's willingness to make this facility so available to the high school community and even oftentimes the junior high community. I think it's been a big ambassador of growing the game in our area.
In the game tomorrow, also fireworks are set to be scheduled after the game. So, for $6 a ticket, come out, have a drink, watch some baseball, and watch some fireworks after the game. It doesn't get a whole lot more American than that.
Eric Snyder from Huntington is texting me asking if we're going to take any banana phone calls. So you got to be old enough to understand that reference.
I don't.
Okay, so that's an old Cincinnati Reds thing. They get on the radio and they would take the banana phone. Fans would call in and they could ask their questions.
What, during a rain delay?
Yeah, during the rain delay.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. And Marty and Joe would be up there. One time Adam Dunn called in and
from the dugout or
was breaking him and stuff. And he was Adam from Milwaukee, if I remember it correct. But so yeah, Eric dropping an old school reference there that some of our older audience will get. The other day, Carson and I are doing a game, and I drop a Johnny Cueto reference, and they're all making fun of me up here, and they're thinking, well, at least our adult listeners will maybe get that. Some of the players or the younger audience may not even know who Johnny Cueto is.
That's crazy to me. Seriously. That's probably the Reds' best arm in the early to middle 2010s, and obviously he would go on to have World Series success with the Royals, and I think he even had a couple good years with the Giants. There's no way he's still in the league. I would have to imagine he's either retired or playing in like a Mexican league or something by now. He's got to be lower 40s, middle 40s by now.
Oh, easily, yeah.
Definitely, a fan favorite.
And he was so good, and he just like a lot of good players, he outgrew the Reds' payroll, and then, like I said, with the Royals there, and then I think he caught on with some different. He might have even made some starts for the Marlins, if I remember correct, and so forth. But he was good. But remember how he would use different windups and he would speed up a little bit. That's what I was referencing the other night. We had a pitcher kind of go to a quicker windup one time, maybe in a 2-strike pitch, and I dropped that reference there, and they started making fun of me up here.
And something I will say, and I don't even know if it's true, and I don't even know if you're totally able to do that with like runners on base anymore. because I feel like my senior year during Legion Ball, I got called for a balk for doing something with runners on that like wasn't a part of my traditional motion. I think I maybe had a guy on second. I flapped my arms up or kind of did the standard Cueto, fake back to second. I'm pretty sure I got called for a balk for it because it wasn't part of my routine, delivery to the plate.
Yeah, you a lot of times, this is an interesting baseball topic that I'll be honest, over the last 5 years of coaching, I couldn't get a real consistent thing. You'll get a lot of those guys that bounce and bounce and bounce, and then they'll come set. And what a lot of umpires will tell you is in the stretch, we'll let you do something if you're a little bit more consistent with it. Now, in the windup, I guess you could kind of get away whatever you wanted to do. I would love an explanation. There wasn't a whole lot of argument, so they must have known what happened, but I would love to know what happened on the balk here in this last inning with McWhorter because they were over there third. I just wonder if there was something between he didn't declare between stretch or windup or something, and that movement maybe caused, because I missed that. And I would love to get an explanation on that.
So both teams now warming up down the first and third baselines. It's 7-4, bottom of the fifth inning, 2 outs, 1-1 is the count to Maverick Hardesty, who's 0 for 2. And it does appear that Carson McWhorter will be returning to the mound for Southeastern. We look to continue this Division VI district final. Huntington, as we talked about in the pregame, has dropped back-to-back district finals last year, falling 9-6 to that Eastern Meigs team. These two teams nearly met up, or would have met up in the regional semis last year had Huntington won. You go back a couple of years ago to 2024, they fall 5-4 against Fairland, where the would have been game-tying run thrown out at home on the final out of the game. And I mean, even back up to 2023, this Southeastern Panther team, this was in the 4-division format, so you had more teams in each bracket. They were a 27 seed, and they upset Huntington 8-6 in the sectional final. So, obviously in the last few years, these two teams, with some history, playing each other in the postseason.
The Side of Valley Conference has always offered that depth in terms of teams and pitchers and so forth, and you get a lot of this. When you look at the 7 divisions especially, you look at Zane Trace and Uniota, even some of the Westfall teams at the top of the SVC, it's tough sledding for some of the other teams. Like when you look at some of the Southeastern and Huntington teams, I know some of the Paint Valley teams I've had, some of the Piketon teams and so forth, all the way down to Dena. This year Dena and Paint Valley meet in what would be the traditional sectional championship to get to Eastern. Then when you go and you play Eastern, the point I was making earlier is sometimes you play a certain team in a round where you're going to see their number one, where if you play them 24 hours later with another guy on the mound, that game could take on a completely different picture, and that's what makes baseball so neat. And so as these two teams come out today with Oyer and McWhorter, I know we're expecting the low scoring, and I still think, again, the lineups being familiar with the other guy, and as the game moves on, the ability to get to the pitcher a little bit. That's why I say if you're Southeastern, you can't quit on it because you still got 6 outs of offense, and you've already proven that you're capable of scoring 4 in an inning.
It's like Kyle Uhrig, Huntington's girls basketball coach, is here. He's on crutches. Wonder what happened. Maybe something with summer camp. Maybe got a little bit banged up. Talking with John Beery, pretty familiar high school basketball official. See him umpire some games as well. Hey, I've thoroughly enjoyed this rain delay. I wish other sports, I wish like indoor sports had the possibility of some kind of delay. Obviously football, you could always get a rain delay as Chad Jenkins gives the go-ahead, and we're going to resume play here in the bottom of the 5th inning.
Yeah, both of the coaches are out there with them, and
kind of gives us the opportunity to slow things down for really a half inning that was about as fast-paced as this game has been. I mean, it's a 4-3 lead, and then 20 minutes later it's 7-4. 4 quick runs for Huntington in their half of the 5th. As Carson McWhorter will return to the mound. He sits at 72 pitches.
That was just it. He was so efficient through those first 4 innings, really pretty dominant. He had the one big swing from Tucker Hopkins. There's just been 2 or 3 at-bats that jump out at me on the Huntington side. The Frankie Hirsch RBI single back in the third after they failed to get the bunt down. It looked like maybe McWhorter was going to get out of it. That was a big swing, and then that kept the inning going. And after McDonald singled, Hopkins had that big 2-run double where he beat the left fielder, Landon Welch, on that deep ball.
So here we go. We return to play in the bottom of the 5th inning at 7-4. Huntington leading Southeastern. A runner on third with 2 outs. 1-1 the count to Maverick Hardesty. And right out of the delay, he's first pitch swinging into shallow left. Cheadle moving into the outfield and makes the grab to put an end to the 5th inning. 4 runs in the frame for Huntington. They take their first lead of the evening, 7-4 over Southeastern, top of the 6th. When we return to Chillicothe, you're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounds and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs, and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today.
Back here at VA Memorial Stadium in Chillicothe, Ohio, top of the 6th inning. Huntington, after a 4-run bottom of the 5th lead, Southeastern. It's 7-4 here in the top of the 6th inning. With McWhorter, Kessler, and Brown, the 3 due up for Southeastern.
Got to really hit the reset button here if you're Andrew Oyer. Again, the experience will play a big factor here. He's pitched in a lot of big games, a lot of situations. So just where he struggled a little bit to find his release point in the 1st inning, he may have to fight that a little bit here again in the 6th inning, but want to be efficient as possible in the strike zone, pitching with a 3-run advantage.
So the 5, 6, and 7 for Southeastern. Carson McWhorter 0 for 1 on the day with an RBI. Had that sac fly back in the 1st, a ground out to 3rd in the 3rd inning. And here he is, first pitch swinging, diving effort up the middle. Hirsch pops up, throw to first, 1 away.
Yeah, how good was that right there? First pitch swinging, she said, hit it hard, and Frankie Hirsch making one of those plus plays when his team needed it most.
Now the second baseman, Bryson Kessler, he's 0 for 2, did reach on an error. That bunt right back to the mound in the 1st inning. Bottom 3rd of the order for Huntington, 1 for 6 so far.
I only have Oyer on the 4 strikeouts, so again, the defense has worked pretty well. Hasn't walked a batter since that leadoff walk to start the game.
The first pitch to Kessler, a cold strike. It's 0-1. Now 0-2 to Bryson Kessler, and Shane now with both Logan Elm and Wheelersburg and some of their fans in here. This is about as filled up for a high school game as I've ever seen the VA.
Yeah, really, really cool atmosphere right now, and you can tell the rain delay got people a little antsy. It's a little bit more into the game here as well.
Well, and another thing it did, Shane, is it moved everybody from the uncovered seating areas, talking about both bleachers down the 1st and 3rd baseline in the picnic area. It moved everybody under the grandstand to stay out of the rain. So 1 ball and 2 strikes to the Southeastern second baseman, Bryson Kessler.
See if Oyer stays stubborn with the off-speed to the outer half.
1-2 pitch up and in.
I think he was trying to, and it just got away from him. He's lucky it didn't hit Kessler there, because right now Southeastern take base runner any way they can get it. That one certainly got away from him.
Two balls and two strikes out of the windup. Oyer comes home. And this one misses low and away. The count is now full to Kessler.
Yeah, big pitch here. You certainly don't want to hand him a base runner. Got to make him hit his way on.
One out here in the sixth inning. Nobody on. Payoff pitch from Oyer. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. Number 5 on the evening for Andrew Oyer. There's 2 away.
Yeah, you see a little bit of that experience there. He understood the importance of the pitch. You notice how he just took a little walk to the back of the mound, dried the baseball a little bit, and just composed himself and was stepped up and was ready to make a pitch. Again, that doesn't always mean you will, because baseball's hard, but it just shows the experience and the composure.
Now the first baseman, Landon Brown, he's 1 for 2 with a single in the first inning. It's the 1-0 on the way to Brown. In on that inside corner, it's 1-1.
This is a really big out here, because if you peek ahead to the 7th inning, it would start it as 8-9-1. If Southeastern's able to get a couple guys on, even if they don't score, it does turn the order over.
Line drive straight away center, drops in front of Troy McDonald for a 2-out single. That's the second hit of the day for Landon Brown. A man aboard with 2 outs for Landon Welch.
Yeah, Landon Brown's played well today. As you said, 2 for 3. He's had about 3 different times in my book here where I put a little star in terms of defensive effort from him at first base.
Now the 5 through 9 batters. So we have a meeting here between our home plate umpire and Brad Valentine. The 5 through 9 batters for Southeastern, 2 for 12 tonight against Andrew Oyer and Landon Brown with both of those hits.
Looks like he's going to take Landon Welch down and bring in a pinch hitter. Also get some dry baseballs delivered to home plate there. Can't see the number there for you.
Well, I was going to say 16, but they don't have one on the roster. And it is number 16. Oh, it's Grady Skaggs.
Now, if you're not familiar with high school baseball, we try to go over it once per game that we do here on SOSA. High school starters get the one-time re-entry, so Welch would be able to re-enter one time.
So Grady Skaggs to bat for Welch. He's first pitch swinging, and this one foul right into the breadbasket of Brad Valentine, who makes the play. It's 0-1 to Skaggs.
Welch would have to re-enter in this 8-hole spot. But he is offered the one time. If you're a sub and you come in and then you go out of the game, you do not get that re-entry opportunity.
It's the 0-1 to Skaggs, fouled off, and it's 0-2.
Skaggs right off the bench, seeing the ball well. Good contact there both times. Just now in an 0-2 hole, and this is where Oyer can get really stubborn with his stuff. Puts a lot of pressure on Lowry to keep that curveball in front if Oyer wants to get a little bit loose with it to the outer half. Strike 3 would be a live pitch here. Got to keep it in front if you're a catcher.
0-2 pitch, fouled away. Skaggs staying alive here with 2 outs in the 6th inning. Bottom of the order, and Isaac Blake on deck for Southeastern.
What'd you say pitch count was for Oyer?
Now sits at 81.
Yeah, so, again, even with the first inning where he had to throw close to 30, he's been real efficient.
0-2 on the way, a breaking ball, and Skaggs again able to fight it off.
I don't keep the exact pitches in my book here, but just looking at that first inning, they sent 9 guys to the plate. I would say he almost had to have thrown almost 30 pitches, if not more.
0-2 from Oyer, and Skaggs able to lay off of it.
Skaggs giving Coach Valentine a good at bat, which is what Coach was wanting there when he went to his bench. He's just trying to do whatever he can to get a few more base runners and extend the inning. You'd love somehow to turn this order over and get it back to the top.
Now 2 balls and 2 strikes to Grady Skaggs.
Gets a good grip here. Let's see if he goes back to the breaking ball.
2-2 delivery from Oyer on the outside corner. Thought they were going to ring him up, but it just did miss, and the count is full.
Yeah, when he took a step back, I wasn't sure if he was going to do that, but now 3-2, 2 outs, going to start the runner. Play will most likely be at first on a ground ball.
Action pitch here for Oyer, a full count to Grady Skaggs, and it misses down low. What an at-bat for Grady Skaggs. He was down 0-2, fouled off. I believe 3 foul balls, and he's able to work a 2-out walk.
Yeah, that's an outstanding AB, and now he's going to go back to the bench.
I think they may re-enter Welch here to run.
Well, that would be in that spot. That would certainly be the easier way.
That's exactly what they're going to do.
Yeah, so Welch will use that re-entry that I was referencing. Great job by Skaggs. Got the job done. Extended the inning. Now Welch back to run.
And Shane, kind of building on the rules that you were laying out for everybody, Skaggs, his day is now done.
Yes.
Because we'll have another pinch runner at second base. This one going in for Landon Brown.
So Gray in for Brown. Welch back in for Skaggs. Now you're one batter away from turning the order back over to C.J. Huff. We talked about it all tournament long, the ability to go with 2 outs. Every pitch matters in tournament baseball.
So Nathan Gray at second, Landon Welch at first base. 2 outs here in the 6th inning. It's the designated hitter Isaac Blake down in the count, 0-1. He's 0 for 2 today. It's for the second straight batter. Andrew Oyer works ahead, 0-2.
Pulled the baseball both times. Fly out to long out in left field, and then the ground ball to Hirsch at short. So he has put the ball in play twice, but now in a big hole to Oyer. And this is usually where Andrew Oyer will get a little stubborn with his stuff on that outer half. Skaggs was able to battle him and get all the way back to the walk.
You do got to give a lot of credit, Shane, to Andrew Oyer. Since that first inning, that 4-run inning for Southeastern, he's only allowed 2 hits. 0-2 on the way, swing and a miss. Another strikeout for Andrew Oyer. His 5th consecutive scoreless inning. So we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning here in Chillicothe. Huntington leads Southeastern at 7-4. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Mark. 6 months of training. 8 miles to go. A 3-way tie for almost last place.
You look good in these shorts, right?
And 3 years since he and his team at Ohio Health left cancer in the dust.
back here in Chillicothe. Carson McCorder out for the 6th inning. His Panthers trail Huntington 7-4 here in the bottom half of the 6th. Just an inning ago, caught into the middle of that rain delay, a 4-run 5th inning for Huntington that put them ahead 7-4. First lead of the night for the Huntsmen. Now they're 7-8-9 due up, and Alex Long, Andrew McKnight, and Andrew Oyer. That bottom third of the order has had a lot of success against Carson McCorder so far tonight. They're 3 for 6 with 3 runs scored.
Yeah, no question about it. When you look at the 2-run 3rd inning, it was Long that started with a base hit in that inning, and then they failed to execute some small ball at the bottom of the order, but Hirsch and McDonald and Hopkins picked them up, and then in the big 5th inning, it was McKnight and Oyer that got on to jumpstart the big inning there to go up 7-4.
For Oyer, no better time for your first hit of the season. So now Alex Long, the left fielder, will lead off for Huntington. He's first pitch swinging into shallow right. So Gabe Oates moving towards the line makes the grab, 1 away.
The other part, baseball's funny when you're facing elite pitchers, is you get 1 or 2 times a game a lot of times to get to them, and you either do or you don't. And today, I think both teams have. And I think that's been the difference in terms of where this has turned into more of a 7-4 game rather than maybe the 4-3 game, 3-2 type of game that we maybe thought we were going to get.
So now the designated hitter, Andrew McKnight. 1 for 1 today. Had that sacrifice bunt in the 3rd inning, a single last inning in the 5th. So he finds himself down on the count 1-2 to Carson McCorder. Pitch number 78 coming up for McCorder. We questioned if he would return. We questioned if both pitchers would return to the mound after the rain delay, and both have looked pretty solid to begin the first couple innings after the weather.
Well, both of these guys throughout their career have been kind of workhorses and durable.
2-2 popped right back to the mound. Here's Cheadle across the diamond on the run. Diving effort at first base. And another web gem for Landon Brown to save another out for the Panthers.
How about Landon Brown today? Man, I tell you, that's a good play from Cheadle there just to come get it and get it over there. But Landon Brown is really showing off the footwork and the glove work today. That's outstanding, young man.
So now the senior Sean Davis will pinch it for Andrew Oyer. You kind of got to wonder if that means Davis is coming in to pitch the next half inning. He's got 8 appearances on the season, 21 innings pitched, a 1.67 ERA.
That's a good point. My guess is no, but I'm not. You make a good point there in terms of, I think honestly just offensively trying to maybe go with 2 outs here, try to get a base runner and turn it over to the top of the order again.
So Davis takes the first offering from McCorder down and in. It's 1-0. Sean Davis, a .289 batter, a double with 12 RBIs. This one kicks off the plate and it's 2-0. Davis, a Southeast District special mention. Getting one of the better pitchers for this Huntsman staff, sporting a 1.67 ERA. So McCorder fights back to make it a 2-1 count as the throwback from Baxter trickles over to second base.
Been a good program guy. His arms continue to improve up through the years of his career, and giving Coach Carroll some good innings. My understanding, quite a young man, quite a good student as well.
Now 3 balls and a strike to Sean Davis, and if you're Carson McCorder, not the guy you want to walk, your 9-hole batter with the top of the order and Frankie Hirsch awaiting on deck. The 3-1 pitch just on that outside corner. That'll push it to a full count.
Goes to the curveball there. That's why throughout his career, sometimes I think he falls in more confidence of locating that particular pitch.
Interesting batting stance here from Davis as he fights this one off to the right side. Gets under the glove of the first baseman, Brown, but he races back and tags the bag with the ball. Another nice recovery there from Landon Brown to make it a 3-up, 3-down inning. Panthers down to their final 3 outs. They trail by 3, top of the 7th inning when we return to Chillicothe. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
Since 1853, Tomlinson Insurance has been protecting families, farms, and businesses in our community. As an independent agency, we offer personalized coverage for your auto, home, farm, and business, plus health and life insurance too. And we proudly partner with Erie Insurance to give you peace of mind with reliable coverage at competitive rates. Tomlinson Insurance. Let our history be your future. Call us today at 740-773-4181 or visit us at tomlinsonins.com.
Andrew Oyer will look for the complete game win here in tonight's Division VI District Final. He's 3 outs away from doing so and getting the Huntsmen over that hump that they've ran into over the last couple of seasons. We've talked about it, back-to-back losses in the district final, but they're sporting a 3-run lead here in the top of the 7th. But for Southeastern, top of the order coming up with C.J. Huff, Colton Baxter, and Gage Cheadle.
Well, this is why you turn to him in a game like this. Look, throughout the years of being around baseball, you'll find people that throw harder. You'll find people more overpowering. But when you think of what he's done for the Huntington baseball program throughout his career, words like dependability, efficient, big game, just you can trust him. And what I mean by that is, like, even when you have something that happens today, look, that first inning was a nightmare start. That thing could have got away, and they could have never responded to it. But to his credit, he just kept throwing, and here he is going into the 7th inning, Dewey, and you look up there, and they still only have the 4 runs that they scored basically in the first, 6 batters of the game.
Yeah.
So
4 runs, 4 hits in that first inning, just 2 hits since then.
The Kessler bunt, I guess, in the 6th hole brought the 4th run home, correct? So it's first 6 batters, and now you look up there, and he's still only given the 4 runs. So you just know what you're going to get from him, which is a really quality effort, and now he's going to face the top of the order, who's going to see him for the 4th time today.
So Andrew Oyer 3 outs away from a complete game district final win. Top of the order for the Panthers. Here's C.J. Huff. First pitch swinging to the left side. It'll roll foul.
Different people have different philosophies. You might say down 3 and you're swinging first pitch. I think a lot of that's the reputation of Oyer. He just doesn't walk a lot of guys. Now, I grant you, he did walk Huff to start the game, and then he did walk the pitch hitter Skaggs last inning. But throughout his career, more times than not, he's going to attack the strike zone.
Huff is 1 for 2 today. He's reached base safely twice. As you mentioned, that walk in the first inning, singled in the second. It's the top third of the order. 3 for 8 against Oyer today. As the 1-1 misses upstairs, it's 2-1.
If you weren't with us all the way back at the beginning and you're used to seeing Southeastern in a different lineup, Cosby not available today, so Huff moved up into the leadoff spot.
So breaking ball from Oyer misses. It's 3 balls and a strike to the leadoff man, C.J. Huff.
Yeah, we talked about the conditions. Then you throw in the pressure of the 7th inning, and these are some of the hardest pitches you'll throw on the day. You just got to be able to relax and find that release point.
It's the 3-1 fouled off by Huff. It's a full count to the leadoff man here in the 7th inning.
Remember, to start the game on the 3-2, he stepped in and called the timeout on him. There it is again. So, again, this is just a little bit of that gamesmanship. Oyer followed up with a pitch out of the zone. Again, that's just where Huff trying to use his experience and try to figure out any way he can to get on base.
Payoff pitch, ground ball left side. Here's Hopkins. Picks it on the hop throw onto first, is in time for the first out of the inning.
Nice job by Oyer to deliver the strike. Nice job by Hopkins to charge it, field it with two hands, and set and throw. Been impressed with his arm strength today. Baxter's pulled the baseball the entire day against Oyer. Does have the one hit to show for it.
First pitch swinging, ground ball up the middle, past the diving glove of Hardesty and into center field. And it's a one-out single for Colton Baxter.
Yeah, good approach. Again, if he's going to live on the outside corner, which he likes to do, you go with it. Didn't hit it real hard, but certainly went with the pitch. And that's a start. You know, basically what you're trying to do, and you're trying to get base runners and get the tying run to the plate. And really in high school baseball, you got to try to get that tying run on base.
So one man aboard with one out here in the seventh inning for the shortstop, Gage Cheadle.
The athleticism of Cheadle and Burns. What Southeastern would like to get on base here. They're able to do so. Burns would represent that tying run, but first things first, Cheadle's got to try to win a battle here. If you're Oyer in the Huntsmen, you're just looking for outs.
1-1 from Oyer. Line drive, right side, that's going to drop in front of Calvin Hirsch for the second consecutive single for the Panthers, and they've got 2 on with the tying run coming to the plate in Braden Burns. Second hit of the day for Gage Cheadle. He's had an interesting day. He's technically 2 for 4, but he's reached base safely in 3 at-bats. Had that batter's interference in the 5th, and it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here in the 7th inning for Huntington.
Huntington fans come to their feet there and show good appreciation for a senior who's pitched a lot of big games for him.
So Tucker Hopkins, a freshman, will come in to pitch. We've talked about what he's done on the offensive side this year, a .310 average, team high 8 doubles, team high 25 RBI, but on the mound through 9 appearances, he's thrown 28 innings, has a 3-1 record with a 3.5 ERA, 20 strikeouts. So not a big strikeout guy as Hopkins, but a respectable .310 average, and Coach Carroll with enough confidence in this freshman to close this one out here in the 7th inning.
Coming up on Burns in the box, what I was talking about is if you're able to get his athleticism on base, now you got the opportunity to capitalize on any one swing, any error, any miss, any throw that gets away. But it starts with getting those base runners. So far, Baxter and Cheadle up to the challenge. Now you hope Burns is as well.
So the official defensive changes for Huntington, we don't have any new bodies, obviously. Hopkins moves from third to the pitcher's mound. Oyer goes from the pitcher's mound to center, and Troy McDonald will move from center to third base. And it's a big spot here against Braden Burns on the season. He's batting .338, does have a home run, and 35 RBI. Quite the season for Braden Burns.
Trying to move Oyer in a little bit. Felt like he was getting too deep. This is where, if you're Huntington, you've got to play the score. You've got to get outs. So you've got to know where you're going on every type of ground ball.
First offering to Burns, gets past the catcher Lowry, and that'll go to the backstop. Both runners move up 90 feet. But still, if you're Southeastern, your game-tying run is at the plate. You got to get another guy on.
That's exactly right. That's the 5th and 6th run. So in terms of them scoring, it's not a big deal. Now, where it does play a big factor is it does eliminate the forces. So now on the ground ball, with the speed and athleticism of Burns getting down the line, it does put a little bit more pressure because you only have one place to go rather than maybe having some of those force opportunities. So you're still focused on the batter in the box right here.
1-0 from Hopkins, popped up. Shallow center, Oyer coming in, Hardesty moving into the outfield, and he brings it in. Tagging from third is Baxter, head first slide into the plate. He's able to score. Tagging from second is Cheadle. And that'll make it a 7-5 ball game. Runner on third base. And now 2 outs here in the 7th.
They say the ball will find you. They had just moved Oyer in. When that ball went up, I thought there was no way that Hardesty was going to go get it. And that was a great job of just staying with it and going and making the play there. So not sure what that's about. So you got your second out, and the runners do move up. But again, if you're Huntington, you could care less about that would-be 6th run down there at third. You're trying to get the guy at the plate.
First offering to McCorder, swing and a miss. On the game, McCorder 0 for 2 with an RBI. That was a sac fly back in the first. Representing the tying run, he's got to get on base here for Southeastern. It's the 0-1 fouled back. Huntington a strike away from a district championship.
Huntington crowd can sense it a little bit. McWhorter's had a lot of big swings this year, hitting in the middle of the order.
1 on, 2 out, 7-5. Huntington leading Southeastern. Out of the windup, the 0-2. Pop to the right side, Calvin Hirsch giving chase, and this one off the wall and foul grounded. That one been fair. That may have been a game-tying home run.
That ball definitely had some carry to it.
Right off of the all signs sign in foul territory here at the VA.
And it's one of those situations as infielders, gotta want it hit to you, gotta want to make the play.
Here's the 0-2 offering from Hopkins. On the outside corner, called strike 3. The Huntsmen are moving on to the Sweet 16.
What an unbelievable effort, down 4-0 within the first 6 batters of the game, and they just wouldn't quit, wouldn't go away. They fight themselves back into it, and eventually with some incredible at-bats from some of their top players, find a way to get over the top and give Oyer and then Hopkins there at the end a lot of credit to shut the door.
After consecutive seasons of falling short in the district championship, the Huntsmen finally able to get over that hump and take some district gold back to the township before heading to Lancaster in the regional tournament next Wednesday.
So many things to unpack, and I know we'll do that in the post game here. But just you look all the way through the game, and there was just some really quality at bats that I thought were big difference makers, and good team win as you get a lot of contribution from a lot of different Huntsmen.
7-5 the final. Here in Chillicothe, Huntington district champions. We'll take a break. Stick around for the post-game show here in Chillicothe. You're watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.
SOSA's The Dugout is Chillicothe's premier indoor baseball and softball training facility designed to serve local baseball and softball players of all ages. The Dugout is equipped with our fully featured hit tracks, the next-gen data capture and simulation system providing athletes with real-time feedback with the capability of playing in any of the 30 Major League Baseball stadiums. The Dugout has a 70-foot by 12-foot batting and pitching cage, and every user has access to baseball and softball pitching machines, plyo wall and arm strength bands, pitching mounts and softball mats, multiple tees and hitting nets. Wall-to-wall AstroTurf, 285-inch TVs and Bluetooth speakers make the Dugout the place to be for all of our area baseball and softball players, no matter the age. Train year-round, improve your performance, and further develop your skills in a fun and competitive environment at SOSA's The Dugout. Located in the heart of downtown Chillicothe at 185 East Main Street. Visit our website at sosadugout.com to reserve a time today. Swinging a liner to left field. Paints will walk it off. That one base is loaded in 2. Pitch. It is low, and this one dripped the pitch. Skied into center field, hit pretty. Major back to the track, to the wall. It is gone.
At Chillicothe Comfort Heating and Air, your comfort is our priority year-round.
Whether it's blazing hot or freezing cold, we've got your back with fast, reliable service you can trust.
Locally owned, honest, and done right the first time.
We have financing options available for every budget as well as 60 months 0% interest.
Call us today and feel the difference that comfort makes.
Are you looking for the best deals on quality used trucks and cars?
Chillicothe Truck has what you're looking for.
Choose from a wide selection of makes and models. All vehicles undergo a detailed multi-point inspection and extensive reconditioning before hitting the lot. Our friendly team offers a no-pressure sales experience, ensuring you find the perfect vehicle to fit your needs. Plus, you can customize your ride with our extensive range of truck accessories, from bed covers to lift kits. Stop by 173 Rennick Avenue in Chillicothe or call us today at 740-773-8782 to get started right now.
Our employees certainly get the credit for that growth. The relationships that they build, people want to deal with people they can trust, they know, feel connected to. And I think that's where a community bank such as Kingston really shines. The color of money is the same no matter where you go, but I think the people behind it is what makes the difference. Having the empathy to understand what's going on in someone's business or personal lives and how you might be able to help it. I think our customers expect that, want that, and truthfully, they deserve that.
We welcome you back to VA Memorial Stadium here in Chillicothe. A district championship win for the Huntington Huntsmen, 7-5 over Southeastern. One more game to come this evening. We'll have that one live here on the Southern Ohio Sports Authority YouTube page. It's a Division IV district final between Logan Elm and Wheelersburg. But Shane, for game one here, a come-from-behind district championship win for the Huntington Huntsmen. After the top of the first inning, they outscored Southeastern 7-1 and really came through. It's something we talked about when they went down 4-0. It was a team that wasn't going to quit, and not only did they not quit, but they kept going, took a lead, and didn't give it up once they had it.
Well, what I love about it for Huntington is how they got contributions up and down the lineup. A lot of their role players were able to either start innings or continue innings, and then some of their best players were in some really clutch ABs, and they come up with some big swings. I go back to that third inning when it looked like Frankie Hurst comes up and picks up a 2-out spot, and then McDonald singles, and then Hopkins with the big 2 RBI double. That was big. And then when you go to the fifth, the biggest at bat of the game has to be the McDonald AB. So, they fight 9 or 10 pitches, just 2 incredible players going at it, and it leaves a pitch on the inner half, and McDonald able to keep it fair as he blasted down the left field line, a 2-run triple. They're able to play a little add-on after that, and just incredible. And then give Oyer a lot of credit for settling in those middle innings, and then give Hopkins a lot of credit for coming in and being able to slam it shut.
Yeah, Andrew Oyer, 6 1/3 innings pitched. He was right around 90 total pitches. I believe when they pulled him, it was at 89. I cannot remember exactly what the game changer said, but obviously he gives up the 5 runs, 6 strikeouts, and then Tucker Hopkins, a freshman, here you go, big dog, tying run at the plate. He comes in and just absolutely slams the door with a strikeout to finish it.
Yeah, well, you knew that there was a lot of confidence there. You don't make that move, right? So you knew there was confidence he was going to come in and throw the ball over the plate, and he did just that. And look, we also, I know there was 5 total errors in the game, but we also watched some really good defense on both sides. It was tough out there. Conditions got bad. It was wet. The ball was slick. We saw a lot of good effort and a lot of good plays today. 2 teams that know each other really well, and it just came down to one team being just a few runs better, and Huntington's going to move on.
And that's the kind of matchup you expect when you have a team or 2 teams meeting up for a third time. Southeastern takes the first one 9-3. That second meeting 2-1, much, much closer. And then this one, very competitive. Again, as Southeastern jumped out to that early lead behind Huntington, fighting all the way back to pick up the 2-run win.
And look, I'm speculating. I'd have to talk to the players. They're the ones that know better than I do. But I do have to feel like that when you see really elite pitching more times throughout the year, that you start to feel a little bit more confident that, hey, I can at least get in the box and put a good swing on him. And I thought they were able to do that in a lot of spots tonight, especially on the Huntington side when they needed it most.
So Huntington moving on to the regional semifinal. That's next Wednesday, June 3rd, 2 p.m. at Beavers Field in Lancaster. They're going to have to do some waiting, not only just because of how far away that game day is, but just in terms of knowing who they're going to play. Those two district semis in the Central District were scheduled to start at 5 p.m. today. With the rain and where they're playing, it's hard to tell when those started or, if they started at all. But those four teams remaining, Mechanicsburg, Cardington, Lincoln, and then Liberty Union and Byrne Union. The winner of those two games will play tomorrow, 2 p.m. at Denison. And then obviously the winner of that one will meet up with Huntington a week from then next Wednesday at Beavers Field in Lancaster, which we've talked about, other than the VA, one of the better facilities in, our coverage area.
Really neat place to play, really neat place to watch a game. And it is a situation, as you see Huntington raise their district championship trophy. It's also an opportunity where now the Huntington coaching staff will get a chance to go see it. You said tomorrow, right? So they'll have a chance to go see it and scout it. And that way you'll have a real good idea of what you're going to be up against. You may not necessarily see the number one arm in a final that you're going to see in a semifinal, but you can at least take a look at their team and their lineup and get a good look at it.
And we talked about kind of the negative of having that much of a layoff. Baseball's not one of those sports where you necessarily need time off. Sometimes time off can almost be, more of a curse than it is something that benefits you, like it might, in football or in a basketball type setting. But in this case, being a day ahead of time, it does give you that opportunity to obviously go over to Denison. I believe that's in the Columbus area, maybe.
Granville.
Okay,
yep.
Yeah. So obviously not the longest drive, 60-minute drive up to Denison tomorrow, and maybe get a closer look, a better look of who you could potentially match up with in the regional semi.
Yeah, the biggest thing on the layoff in baseball is your pitcher. I guarantee you Andrew Oyer will appreciate it, right? Rest the arm up a little bit and get going. A couple days away off of an emotional win like this to rest a little bit. But then after a while, you can really get batting practice to death, and you can only field so many ground balls and catch so many fly balls. You'll do just enough to stay sharp and be ready to go. And then obviously when that date rolls around, you'll be anxious to hit the field again.
In your coaching experience, obviously I think 3 district championships. In your time, I'm assuming you've had at least one 7-day layoff or maybe even 3 7-day layoffs. What did you typically go to in that time?
Well,
is there even a recipe for that?
There's not. No, I'm going to be honest. The first year I butchered it. The first year I probably pushed too hard, right, as a young coach, and then you learn a little bit more. And then what you want to do is you want to work in some team things. It's a great opportunity to really kind of come together and enjoy it a little bit for a day or two, right? But then you also get to work. I thought the second and third time we went, we handled it much better. But again, it's that layoff's real. I mean, you got to be able to handle it. You got to be able to stay sharp, and you got to remember at the end of the day, it's a business trip when you're going there to try to win. No, it's tough, and you just try to figure out the formula and what works best for your kids, and you just want your kids to be peaking mentally, physically, emotionally at the right time come time to go to Lancaster.
Alrighty, well, that'll wrap it up for Game 2 of our triple header here this evening at VA Memorial Stadium. The Huntington Huntsmen district champs, a 7-5 win over Southeastern, moving on to the regional semifinals next Wednesday in Lancaster at 2 p.m. Now, Shane, it was fun jumping back in the booth with you. We met up, obviously, during basketball towards the end of the season, and an opportunity here for baseball.
A shout out to Southeastern. This is a program that has accomplished some big time things in the last couple of years, and obviously they are back on this stage here. McWhorter and that entire senior class. What an incredible run that they've had, and competing in the SVC as a smaller school is no joke, and they've been able to really go toe to toe and really represent the program in the league in the right way.
It's not too often. In 2026, as a high schooler, you have the opportunity to do something that your school has never done before, and they obviously did that last year. And, I would assume this is probably the first time they've ever been to back-to-back district finals. So, as you said, a great class.
I always say it's really hard or everybody would have done it, right? And like when you say first ever do it, like it must be really, really hard, or why would we be the first to ever do it?
Right. Absolutely. Well, Shane, unless you got anything else to chip in, that's going to wrap it up for us here in Game 2. And I would assume this Logan Elm Wheelersburg game going to kick off probably around 7:30. That's about 45 minutes from now, maybe 7:15, somewhere in that range. Regardless, the live stream will be started in time, and as soon as this game gets going, we'll have it all live here at Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health. Shane Combs and Dewey Daly signing off from VA Memorial Stadium. You've been watching Ohio High School District Tournament Baseball on Southern Ohio Sports Authority, presented by Ohio Health.